need that sports encyclopedia. Where you at, Steve Kim? Got Trent in the cut.
Coach JB.
Yeah.
Where you at, man? In the gym shooting, I'm Durant. You ain't shooting John Moran.
Darnell is the Ball State legend. I'm the Warren Central High School legend.
I'm proving with a reliable source, straight from the mouth of the horse. Smitty and JB and Smitty from West Coast to Yost.
I love talking ball. It's nice to connect with guys that are like-minded and just are real and genuine.
Better stay in your lane. How did
You are fucking insane. Dude, what? You just will not give this guy his flowers. What is wrong with you?
Oh, you must have thought I was a bitch.
I am him. You's not it. What's the topic? With your logic when I flow. Big Komodo, how it's talking.
Got to get back to letting the baby cry a little bit to see if they can soothe themselves.
That's a bar.
Issues get pressed so fast it don't get sacked like bags and baggage. Smitty and Jason Brown killed it, yeah, it's a rap. We what the game's been missing, we switched it and filled the gap.
I identified him after his third fight, and I said that guy can be a star.
I'm so proud of the show, bro.
The gap. Smitty and Jason Brown.
To the Coach JB show.
What up? It is Merciless Monday here from the Slapdick Cigar Lounge and Studio. We are live in the building, and we have a super loaded lineup today. Big Matt McChesney joins us, Shaun King, Jeff Nadu, but right out the gate in the first 30 minutes, 247 Sports, for everybody out there that listens and is in tune with college football. We'll have one of the insiders for 247 who does a great job, Carl Reed, joining us right out the gate. So stay tuned, pound that like, subscribe, become a member. We got a lot going on today, and it is Merciless Monday. I take no mercy on Mondays. So we are live in the building. Pound that like, become a member of our Slap Nation Discord today. Plus our winnable slap picks are hitting as well. Join us over there as well. Every single day we're on there. Our first down package. You could be the next big winner. Subscribe now. Winnable.com/slap picks today. We got a loaded lineup. Like I said, 247 Sports, Carl Reed, Big Matt McChesney, Shaun King, and Jeff Nadu joins us to end the show on the realest show on Planet ERF. Bet on it with your favorite betting apps. Winnable, Prize Picks, and Bet Online, proud sponsors of the Coach JB show. Let's get into this, man. Tua. Let's dive into this real quick before we start the show. Tua wants $50 million. He wants $50 million a year and has declined the Dolphins' first offer on the table. This is the way of the world now. Just listen to me, don't hear me. Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Daniel Jones, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, Jared Goff, Patrick Mahomes, along with Russell Wilson. All right. The days of earning before you receive are dead. They don't earn it no more. They receive it before they earn it. The GMs and head coaches have allowed this to spiral out of control. 8 of these 10 quarterbacks have won absolutely nothing. And actually, I could say have choked off more wins than earning them. Plus, have made their respective teams worse in many ways, as far as rosters, salary cap, and the ability to attract big free agents. Look at Buffalo. They don't gain new players. They lose them. Look at Cleveland. That team was put in place before Deshaun Watson got there, contrary to belief. Baker Mayfield had a loaded roster as well when he was there, just FYI. Jared Goff lost a Super Bowl. His Lions are now loaded, of course, but not because of his addition. He joined a loaded roster with a new GM and a new head coach who basically was the right timing and the right place to be. Lamar Jackson, we could argue, has done nothing for his team. He's a 2-time MVP, yes. That is an individual accolade. Let's be real. He hasn't done anything as far as a teammate. Daniel Jones is completely overpaid. As much as I like him and think he's been on a horrible, horrible situation, he's overpaid. So is Dak Prescott. You know damn well he's a joke at this point. Kyler Murray, the mental midget, is a bust to date. To date, Kyler Murray's a bust, contrary to everyone's belief. Justin Herbert and Kirk Cousins are being paid on potential because they sure ain't done shit. And Jalen Hurts got there, but he declined last year a lot. He had a steady decline. And Joe Burrow got there as well. Was really close away from winning a Super Bowl, but didn't get it done and has been hurt ever since. Let's just be real. Mahomes and Russell Wilson have combined for 4 Super Bowls, 3 of them going to Mahomes. And Russell is on the decline of his career, yet they paid him, listen, they paid him because of his past, not his present. So why is everyone else mentioned above being paid on their present without winning shit to date? Why is everyone being paid on their now instead of what they've done? Because they've done nothing. At least Russell won the ball. Make it make sense. We're going to dive into it. Let's get into the show. Rest in peace, Jim Otto. The legendary Raider has passed away. Shout out to him. I wanted to give credit to him first. A legend. Played for John Madden. And I was a little kid remembering stories about him and all that. This was when football was football, not flag football. And old school, nutty gutty, 12-time Pro Bowler, 15-year career, AFL champ, Hall of Fame, and played in 6 AFL or AFC championship games. A lot of you youngsters have no clue about this guy. So rest in peace. All right, P. Diddy. Video surfaces, and then he issues an apology. What are your thoughts? We're going to dive into that. Xander Schauffele, San Diego, California's own, wins the PGA Tour Championship. Pacers dominate the Knicks in Madison Square Garden in Game 7 as Jalen Brunson breaks his hand. The Nuggets-Wolves go down to the wire, and the Wolves pull away, winning Game 7, all 4 games in Denver. Haven't seen that much. Ohtani hits first walk-off home run for the Dodgers as they continue to dominate the NL West. But before we begin, my self-esteemed co-host is still in Mexico, enjoying his vacation with his lovely wife. So I'm solo dolo for the first 30 minutes. But in 30 minutes, we got 247 Sports Carl Reed joining us. So I'm here solo for the first 30. And we got Carl Reed joining us. We're going to talk about all things coaching, college football, NIL, all things that he's privy to, that he reports on every day on 247. Plus, we're going to dive into some controversial takes. I saw him having a show yesterday about, and I had to call him and say, man, I would love to get you on to talk about it, from a white dude from Compton talking about the lack of hiring black coaches. I'm going to dive into it and give you a perspective you've never heard. So stay tuned for that in about 25 minutes. So first of all, before we start, let's get you with the quote of the day, brought to you by betonline.ag.
What up, man? The real Coach JB here for the Coach JB Show with Big Smitty. We got a proud new sponsor, of course, for the second part of the year, and that's BetOnline. Continue to be your number one source for all basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. March Madness is here. Join us every Monday and Friday with Jeff Nadu as we will pick them and up-to-minute odds, stats, and trends. You can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop to your mobile device. Head on over to BetOnline today. Become part of the team, and remember to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for 50% off plus welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Peace.
All right. Let's get into this quote of the day. Brought to you by BetOnline. Talking about our problem is our greatest addiction. Break the habit. Talk about our joys. Problems is an addiction. It's all you talk about. It's all we talk about. Social media has allowed for problems to be the greatest addiction in planet Earth. Break the goddamn habit and talk about our joys for once. How about that? Just put it out there. Contrary to belief, brought to you by Prize Picks. Head on over to Prize Picks and use the promo code CoachJB. Confidence is not they like me. Confidence is I'll be fine if they don't. Contrary to belief. They don't need to like me. And that ain't confidence. That's some half-ass, I hope they like me. Nah, fuck that. Confidence is, motherfucker, I'll be fine without you or with you. So it really don't make me none. Just throwing that out there. Poll question brought to you by Winnable. Make sure you head on over to winnable.com/slap-picks. Poll question. Did Coach Thibodeau burn his team out in New York? That's the conversation going around right now. This is a conversation brought by the left woke ESPN that wants to bring up certain additives to sports. We talk a little bit politics here and there on this show, but let me be honest. I would never bring this question up unless I was getting it from someone else. And this question right here was brought up by Jason Williams and Stephen A. Smith on Get Up this morning. And I looked at it and I said, holy shit, are you this fucking soft that you're asking a question about did Thibodeau burn out the Knicks because they lose a game 7 without fucking Mitchell? Brunson breaks his hand. No fucking Randall since January 27th. Goddamn, who else got hurt? Oh, Obadiah or whatever his fucking name is. How many games did he miss? And now you bring up these questions is why we cancel coaches. This is the epitome of cancel culture. Contrary to belief, this is an underlying way to cancel guys and get the narrative spinning out there so everybody grabs it and starts to say, oh, fuck, Thibodeau burned his guys out. Too hard on these guys. He's too hard on these guys. He's too hard on guys that make fucking $100 million a year. Man, miss me with that bullshit. No, he's not too hard on them. They fucking got hurt. They lost everybody. Listen, could you play through a few strains, Donovan Mitchell in Cleveland? I guess not. But these guys literally had surgeries and missed the remainder of their season. He lost all depth on his bench. And now you're pushing a narrative on woke-ass ESPN that he's too hard. Why? So you can get the Mike McDaniels of the world stroming our sidelines. That's what you want. They want the capri pant wearing, vape fucking smoking, soft pussy that bases his life on analytics instead of facts, hard-nosed coaching, and a foot in your ass and hold someone accountable like coaches used to do. They don't want that, dog. They want a buddy, kiss your ass, suck your dick, make you feel better. Oh, it's okay, Jalen Brunson. It's okay. We'll be back next year. You don't got next year. This is a what have you done for me lately business and life, homie. You don't got next year. Jalen Brunson said it right after the game. No, I'm not fucking happy. We lost, didn't we? I love Jalen Brunson, by the way. Came back in the game after he fractured his hand, along with Hart. They got some nutty-gutty guys. Let me spin it at you, Jason Williams. Hart, Brunson, and those guys wouldn't have came back to play or tried to play if it wasn't for Thibodeau. And if they didn't believe in that hard-nosed coach, like my guys believed in me, they wouldn't have even tried to play. Contrary to belief. But go ahead and go over to Cleveland and ask yourself how Bickerstaff handled that roster when his fucking superstars can't play because of a strained calf. How about you go on over to Phoenix and ask them motherfuckers why Bradley Beal missed so many goddamn games and why under the same coach, Vogel, who I like, but he's, let's be real, soft. AD, how many games did he miss under Vogel? How many guys missed under these certain coaches? But you bitching about Thibodeau? The fuck out of here, man. Real people talk about real shit. This show is not going to handle the fucking pussy slander of these other fucking narratives that get pushed out there. So Thibodeau knows what he's doing. You fucks are soft if you think he's too hard on his $200 million fucking players. That's the problem with you motherfuckers. Fucking Porzingis is still out. How do you think that coach is? That motherfucker won't win a championship because of his soft-ass nature in Boston. There's a reason why they've been to the fucking the Eastern Conference Finals. What? 4 out of 6 years and ain't won shit? Come on, man. Miss me. Porzingis is a fucking liability. I've been telling you all that for the longest. But what do I know? We're going to break down the NFC schedule, the remainder of the schedule today. We're going to also talk about QBs all week long. Shaun King and I, we're going to break down quarterbacks from every division, all 4 quarterbacks in each division. We're going to go through the whole thing starting tomorrow through Friday. Today with Shaun, I'm going to bring Bailey in for a piece later on. We're going to talk about the NFC West. Bailey got his take and some insight since he is from Seattle on the Seahawks. And then we're going to break down the Rams, the Niners, and the Cardinals today. Matt will join us. We're going to talk about the NFC North. And then Jeff Nadu joins us later on. We're going to talk about the NFC East. And Shaun will join us as well. And we're going to break down the NFC South, especially when Atlanta and Penix. So stay tuned. It's going to be the realest show that you will get today on Monday. Let's dive right into it, though. The NBA playoffs. Timberwolves take out the Nuggets. Game 7. Lots to take from it. I don't know what you think about it. Keith, shut up. Miss me with your flat fucking wobble body titty ass. You know why you're fat and wobble body? Because you don't got nobody motivating your motherfucking ass. You don't got nobody putting their foot in your motherfucking ass. Keith Smith, if you lived in my house for 2 days, you'd lose those titties. You know why? Because I'd be up in your ass, motherfucker. Pause, as you say. But you don't have nobody, and you rather just blame everybody else for losing because it's too hard. Let's be fresh. You're fresh, motherfucker, every day. You get your fat ass out of bed, Keith. You're fresh every day, motherfucker. What's your excuse? You're fresh every goddamn day. What is your motherfucking excuse, homie? Since you're so fresh. You get your fat ass out of bed every goddamn day and don't do shit. But your motherfucking ass worried about the next man talking about he's too hard. Get your motherfucking ass out of here. I guarantee you I'd have your motherfucking ass losing them titties if you were here, and you'd be thanking my motherfucking ass in 2 years. But instead, your motherfucking ass want to complain and bitch about motherfuckers being hard. That's your goddamn problem with you youngsters. You motherfuckers are soft as baby shit. Runny baby shit at that. Let's dive into this, the Nuggets game. The Nuggets looked old again. They won 3 in a row. They looked back like they had it going. It looked like it was over. And bam, they fucking hit a wall last night. Up 20, and they lose. I don't know if Bailey has it, but Coach Malone, I want to get your take and get your what you have to think about this, because then I'm going to dive into Kendrick Perkins' tweet.
How hard is it just to absorb a loss like this after going ahead by 20?
Next question, man. The season's over. That's what's hard. Fuck being up 20. The season's over. You don't understand that. The season's over. It's hard. Stupid ass questions.
So glad that the fucking coach, I like Malone. I think he's a coach's coach. I think he's a player's coach. And let's just be honest, man. I'm tired of hearing these motherfuckers on ESPN talk about how he is classless. I'm so fucking tired about the fucking hypocrisy, about his fucking soft fucking networks pushing narratives that this man is classless. Was he a classless when he won it all last year and rubbed it in the Lakers' fucking faces? Smitty and I have said we think he lacks some humility because that's the first time Denver's won anything since fucking win. So we get on that humility side. But let's just be real. You're coaching grown men in a grown man league making billions of dollars across the league. Let's just keep it real. You have to be different. You have to motivate in a different fucking way. Malone obviously gets those guys ready and going. I've said it before the season. There's no way that Denver can repeat. I didn't think they could. Losing Bruce Brown, I think it proved me correct. I don't know anything about basketball. I said Dame Lillard's addition would ruin the Bucks, but it did. But I don't know shit about basketball. I know. All you casuals know more. But here's the bottom line is Coach Malone calls his guys out. He motivated his guys down 2-0. He said everybody and their mama thinks we're done. He put it all over the bulletin. He put it everywhere. And you know what? They came back, took the lead 3-2, and Minnesota had to win 2 in a row. Kudos to Minnesota. They won 2 in a row to lock out a series down 1. What else can you say? Shout out to them, dog. It's shout out to them. But Kendrick Perkins tweets out classless. Now, ironic that this dude who talks more shit about more people on planet Earth than anybody is now going to talk about this guy and say he's classless. Kendrick Perkins, we all forget about Kendrick Perkins saying what he says about certain folks out there. He takes shots at everybody since he's been out of the league. Because let's be real. He was a, 3-point scorer in the NBA. He was a dirty man. He did the dirty work and helped them win a championship. Let's just be real. He's a guy that certain teams needed. But let's be honest. If we look at his early career in OKC, even when he was in shape in OKC, he's never been a guy that you can depend on to do anything for a win. Let's just be real. This guy is is such a joke, dog, that it's hard to hear him call a guy that won a championship less than 10 months ago classless because of your media, Kendrick Perkins. Your media and your platform, ESPN, asked stupid questions, and this guy was tired of answering them. And now it's classless? Motherfucker, I have 1,000 clips of you being classless. I got 1,000 of your clips. We could go find Kendrick Perkins, and we can ask, is this classless? It blows my mind, man. It really does that these motherfuckers get a platform and really go out there and call another motherfucker classless when that's what you do. You're the most classless motherfucker on TV with your fat wobble body ass. You look like a dark-skinned Keith, motherfucker. I really despise ESPN right now, dog. I got good friends there too, and I can't stand it. I really don't. I can't stand that shit. It's so hard to watch. NFL GM, we're going to talk to Carl Reed about this, says if Shedeur Sanders had declared for this year's draft, he would be up there with Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels. He said, again, another nameless GM. No name, just a nameless GM. Pretty ironic that this guy said that. I'll ask Carl Reed about it. We'll dive into that with Carl. We'll see. But I want to talk about the other NBA game real quick. The Pacers beat the Knicks. We started off with Thibodeau saying that, he's too hard on the players, Jason Williams thinks. By the way, Jason Williams hasn't been at work because he had knee surgery. He hasn't been on ESPN in I don't know how long. His first day back is today. And then the first thing out of his mouth is Thibodeau burned out. Thibodeau burned out his players. You've been, dog, a motherfucker that's been on sick leave for how long is the first thing out your motherfucking bust-ass mouth that Thibodeau's too hard on his players? How about you drop your nuts, motherfucker, and show up for work? It's ironic that these motherfuckers talk this shit, but then won't walk the shit. They won't walk it. They won't walk it, but they'll fucking talk it. It blows my mind. And nobody else will call him out. Nobody else will call him out. Too scared to call him out. So it is what it is. It's really ironic. I don't understand it, but guess what? Whose fault is that, Jared? Is that his fault or my fault? Whose fault is it that Jason Williams ruined his career before it started, wrecking a motorcycle? I say he's dumb as fuck to ride a motorcycle before your NBA season starts. That's just me. How about Tatis? Do you call Tatis a dumb motherfucker too? He's worth $200 million in San Diego. He fucking wrecked a boat and a jet ski, fucking ruined his fucking career possibly. So make sure, just throwing it out there. I don't feel sorry for dumb motherfuckers, man. I don't feel sorry for them. I'm sorry, I don't. The bottom line is Jason Williams is a bust. We had this conversation. The bottom line is Len Bias is a bust. As great as Len Bias was, he's a bust. We've already had these conversations. Nobody wants to keep it real, though. Nobody wants to keep it real, though. That's the problem. Nobody wants to keep it real that, you know, people don't want to talk about Dwayne Haskins. You don't want to talk about Dwayne Haskins. The truth of the matter is he's a bust. Did he die? Yes. Unfortunate death. Yes. I don't want to glorify death. I'm just telling you the truth. He's a bust. He self-claimed his life some way. Either on the highway, whatever he was doing, walking up the bridge. It doesn't matter. In my opinion, that is a bust. I don't glorify it. I don't wish it upon nobody. But at the end of the day, we got to make those decisions and keep it real. Man, we got a great guest joining us in the morning that I wanted to have on specifically because he keeps it real and talks this talk every day out there. Follow him on 247 Sports. Make sure you follow Carl Reed, Coach Reed Live on X and on Instagram. And follow him because he'll give you the updated information on NIL, on transfer portal, on all things college football. So make sure you follow him. Our main man, welcome him in, Carl Reed. What up, Coach?
What's good, my brother? How you doing?
Man, I'm hanging in there, brother. I'm glad you joined me, man. I saw you yesterday on an interview with someone talking about the lack of black coaches, and I was like, man, I've had this many conversations with my boys who are black about this, and I said I gotta get Carl on here, man, to talk about it. So I think getting it from a white boy from Compton might stir some folks wrong. But it's going to be a good talk. What's going on with you right now, man? You got everything going on the show, getting ready for college season again, or what?
Man, excited about the college season. You know, a lot of good teams, a lot of good players. Obviously, you got to recalibrate because of all the roster movement with the transfer portal. So you got to see if guys fit, how they fit. You know, it's a lot of guys who got some money or offered some money, but they're not going to get paid. So that's going to get an element to it, man. So just all the changes in the game right now, really locked in and focused on those.
Let me ask you that. So right now I got Matt McChesney on after you. He comes on 3 times a week. Colorado buff. He's had Dion on his show and he played there, a legend there, played in the NFL 7 years, and he covers everything in Boulder. And he's alum there, obviously. Last time they really won when he was there, 2004. But let me ask you, like, we go back and forth on this whole thing. So right now, what's up in the air, and correct me if I'm wrong, is this revenue sharing situation that's out there. And I've had all these guys on my show every day, every week, from Eric Weddle to Tank Johnson to Shaun King, who's on later. And they're like, listen, you go this route, it's the NFL Division II. That's what it really is going to be. It's Division II of the NFL because now then they're going to want to be employees of their institutions, correct? They're going to want not only TV money, which will be their salaries like the NFL salary would be, and then it would basically deflate. I guess the worth of what an NIL would be now. NIL is now going to be kind of like your marketing campaign to get that side money, which in the NFL would be your commercials or your ad sponsors. That is what the NIL would be if the revenue share is what the billions of dollars are saying it is. Wouldn't that be, in essence, what it is?
Yeah, if I was the players, I wouldn't want this. Because it's going to also put a cap on what the top guys can make, and it's a way to get their money under control. They want to do this because this is going to stop your second string offensive guard from leaving because he's going to make a little money. So they want it. These are more for the depth guys, them pushing for a move like this. But if I was one of the top guys in the country, if I was going to be a first or second round pick, I wouldn't want this at all. They're going to end up making less money if they agree to this. And also, when you become an employee, there's rules that come with that. There's regulations. There's going to be things that they're going to be able to say you can and you cannot do. So if I was a player, I wouldn't want to unionize. I wouldn't want it to be I wouldn't want revenue sharing. I would want the game to be exactly what it is right now if I was a player. But I do understand why the coaches and the administrators want it like this.
Yeah, it's interesting. I gotta get you on with Matt. You gotta get him on your show. He had Dion on, and I know you had him on. They become close because he covers them. But he thinks they should unionize. He's been saying it for 2 years. I'm on your side kind of on this thing. I think that these cats are chasing greener pastures, and with the transfer portal being as open as it is, I mean, you got this thing open during bowl season, like beast or whatever they call it now, college football playoff season. Like the quarterback who helped Texas win 3 games left during the damn finals. Like, what are we talking about?
The way to win, he had to though, based on the way that the window was.
Right, and that's not their.
That's not his fault. And Matt, who's a wealth of information, not only was he a great player at Colorado and he's great at covering it, he also is one of the best offensive line trainers in the country. He does great work. But I understand why he wants him to unionize, because he's an offensive lineman and he trains a bunch of linemen, and this is going to be beneficial to the guys that he deals with the most. So I do understand his point of view on why he would support something like that. But if it was me, I wouldn't want this. If I was Jermaine Johnson, who played for you at Independence, who ended up being a first-round pick on the Jets, I wouldn't want this because it's going to put a cap on the money that he can make. So
Tank Dell, similar, they play for me. Guys like that, they don't know what they'd get, and he went to a Houston.
You don't want that if you're those guys. But I do understand that when people who are college football purists look at the situation, they feel like, well, something has to be done about this. But I tell everybody all the time, it's the college coach's fault why we're here in this position anyway. They're the one who screwed the system up, and players had to start getting lawyers involved. They were doing some really, really hateful things to kids, and that's just the truth.
Meat market, man. Pieces of meat. Kids are a piece of meat in the meat market. I've been saying it for years. It's what they are. We were the piece of meat in the meat market when we played it as well. But now it's glorified and magnified because of social media, money now involved, and the ability to leave and chase greener pastures without really having to toughen your skin and be checked and stuff like that. I got to ask you, like, once you become a state employee, and if you're a private school, let's say Wake Forest, Vanderbilt, Stanford, Cal, USC, Duke, they don't got to report.
No, they don't.
You don't got to show your salary as a coach. You don't got to see what the kids are making. And then when kids miss practice and we don't know why, we won't know why, because they don't got to show it. And the other thing is, people don't realize that these private schools, you're going to get bereavement pay if you're an employee. You're going to get sick leave. You're going to get benefits. Like, I'm trying to figure this 401k. Is that what we're giving the kids now too at 17 to 21 that don't even know how to change oil in their car? We're going to make them come in faster than they need to be?
When people make rules, there's always unintended consequences that they haven't even thought about or haven't even started to consider. And some of the things that you're mentioning are those unintended consequences. So I think that everybody should take a deep breath. And if I was in charge, I would just say I would more so attack what the collectives are, right? Which is turned into a play for play, because name, image, and likeness was not about the collectives. but those guys found the loophole in the rules as well. I would get away with the collectives, and I would tell players however much money you can get for yourself off the field or through YouTube monetization, social media monetization, whatever you do, that's your deal. We don't really care about that. That's how it really is in the pros, from their marketing standpoint. We're not going to put any limit on you for what you can do from a marketing standpoint, but we're not going to allow collectives are recruiting more aggressively than the college coaches. We got guys running collectives. I mean, you think about them, they're former college players, a lot of them. Some of them were working in recruiting departments at other universities. So the people that are running the collectives are being just as aggressive in recruiting as the guys on the staff are being.
And Coach, I'm gonna be honest. I think that is what is allowed. That's why, in my opinion, coaching has been watered down, because I think coaches now are depending on collectives to actually go do the work. And we got guys that will not go visit certain kids in high school or go recruit organically, I like to call it, from ground roots level, because I think they're dependent on collectives paying for those guys. And then the coaches now are becoming so lazy in teaching. I don't believe that they're teaching like we used to teach. Like I see a bad product going from there to the NFL, especially at the QB position.
Well, think about this from this standpoint. Imagine you're going to recruit a guy and you've got a relationship. So you're the college coach and I'm the high school coach. That's a role we've both been in before. So you're my guy. I know that you're the right coach for this guy. I know that he needs your mentorship, your leadership, your guidance, and your structure. And his parents, they trust me, and they trust you because they trust me. But now when it gets down to it, you lose him because the guy in the necktie can't get the kid $200,000. He only got $75,000. So the kid and the parents make the decision to go for the money because, light bill is what it is. Maybe he's got a kid early and, all of those things that bring in money come into play. And now the kid ends up in a tailspin because he ends up somewhere where he shouldn't have been. And he's not being developed and he's not being mentored and he doesn't have what he needs. And so the people who should be the most influential in that decision, which is me as the high school coach and you and the college coach, we're no longer powerful in that situation. What we say no longer matters. Whoever can come up with the most money for that particular kid in that situation is typically going to get the kid, unless the kid has elite level guidance, which you and I know most kids don't have.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, the thing that you brought up is funny. Like I'm looking at this, these coaches now that are doing this, and are they really like? So you remember you've done this for a long time. You've been setting these recruiting up. USC, Sark gets the job, and he offers. Let's just put it in today's perspective. He offers a 28 kid, a freshman. And he's offered, and he's on that 28 kid for 3 years, and he's recruiting the hell out of him. He's got a huge relationship built with him, mother, grandma, auntie, whoever's calling the shot. There's no longer any of that going on, correct? Because why would I do it and waste my damn time? Because of Alabama come in and give you a bag on 23rd hour of signing day after 4 years of relationship building. He's gone. You wasted your 4 years.
It doesn't even benefit you to spend that amount of time with a kid. You're going to get in much later now because it's going to come down to the money anyway. So if it's going to come down to the money, let's just wait until the money conversation comes up. Let's see how the kid develops. Let's see what I'm willing to spend, where I'm willing to get in at. It's more like speed dating than relationship building.
No question.
And when it turns into that, you also end up making a lot of mistakes, JB, because now you don't get to know the kid as well, right? Over those 3 years that you're recruiting him, you may find out that he's not the kid for you and that you're not the coach for him. And that's also important when you're trying to build your culture. But because we're speed dating now and we're doing it based on money and based on talent, we're not even building those authentic relationships. So now I got a kid and I don't even like him. Right. I know people don't look at that, but I'm coaching him. I don't like him. He doesn't like me. The family and I don't like each other, but we never got a chance. That's what's an important part of the recruiting process too. And we never got an opportunity to do that with each other.
And I've known Dabo a long time. He sent me a kid to Compton back in 08 when he was a wideout coach for Bowden before he took the job. And it's going to be hard. I find it hard to find him either getting on with trying to be part of the Joneses and keeping up with the Joneses. I don't know if he'll ever do it. Will it be the detriment of his career? Maybe in this new age. I don't know. But I don't mind him standing on business and saying, you know what? You can't play here. You're not good enough. The portal kids are not good enough because he has the same mindset I would have in this particular landscape. I would be like, you know what? This was my mindset back in the day, and this is why the players that I had did what they did and moved on. I'm not taking you from another school. You couldn't play there. So if you couldn't play there, what the hell think you think you could play for me here? And I think that's the standard you set at your institution, regardless of the outside noise that everyone wants to say, oh, he needs to get on with the Joneses. But nah, I got a higher standard here. You can't play here if you could not play at North Carolina. See, today we're taking too many USC coach, a USC kid left USC, went across the street to UCLA and came back.
So
like, come on.
that is one way to look at it, right? And I understand Dabo's position. But what about guys like Keon Coleman, who was a starter at Michigan State and went to Florida State and helped take them over the top? Guys like Jared Verse, who was a starter at Albany, an FCS school, goes to Florida State and is a first-round pick. A.J. Cornelius started at Rhode Island. He's at Oregon now, starting at right tackle. He's going to be a first-round pick. Those guys could have played at Clemson. And those guys have tremendous character, and they have tremendous character value. So I agree with you from a standpoint that he shouldn't take a guy that was a backup at North Carolina State, right? But there are 20 to 50 guys in the portal who were legitimate starters that entered the portal to either help with pro positioning or they did want more money, right? That he would be a major player with if he got involved with those kids because he's an excellent recruiter and he's great when he gets in front of people.
Let me ask you this, though. Is that luck of the draw? Let's say you said 20 to 30 guys or maybe 50 even. How do those 50 guys land in the right spot? Because we're calling out certain guys. We've seen the Jalen Hurts, but he went from Alabama being coached by the greatest ever. He lands in Oklahoma. He wins the Heisman. He does a great job, but it's a one-year borrow. And then he goes on to the NFL, you know, a high pick. And we've had those scenarios. Baker Mayfield's another one. We've had guys that have done it. Russell Wilson, the first one, who's a grad transfer, goes from NC State to Wisconsin. The rest is history. How far and few between are those 50 kids, though, on how they land at the right spot? Because if you can't build a relationship, which you and I have already established, it's a hit and miss guessing game, isn't it, on how to get that verse to Florida State and hit with them? Like, how do we know he was a great kid at Albany, FCS school that's really not known for football, and now we get him to Florida State as a first rounder and the Rams make a steal? Like, how do we know that guy's that guy? When we really
But to me, that's no different than high school recruiting. It's probably only 50 to 75 high school kids who could really play at Clemson or Alabama or Georgia. And they're all fighting for those kids. So I think you use the same evaluation process when you're applying with it. When you're applying that part of it, I think that you evaluate, you look at fit, you meet with the kid. If you meet with Jared Verse, you're going to see right away that he's a great culture guy. He's got a great family. He's got great parents. He's got great respect for his mother and his father and the sacrifices they made for him. So he's just an example I'll use as a guy who would have fit perfectly in the culture at a place like Clemson, who would have been fine. There are some kids, if you know Dabo, I know him as well. There are kids that are not going to be a good fit for him because he's not going to bend on his core tenets for his culture and his rules. But there are several players who are elite players that are also great human beings and add a lot of value to the locker room. The guys who make the headlines that are jerks, we talk about them a lot because they move the needle for us on media. They make our YouTube checks bigger. They make our revenue share bigger. But they're great players who don't get in trouble, who don't cause problems, who add tremendous value to locker rooms. That would be a benefit to the roster there.
I argue this with Matt all the time. I'm like, dude, there's a reason why everyone there's 5,000 channels out there on YouTube that talks about Deion and Colorado every day.
Made a lot of guys a good amount of money.
And I tell Matt all the time, I said, so why wouldn't we talk about him? Why wouldn't we talk about it? You talk about him. Everybody talks about it. You've had him on your show. Everyone talks about him because there's a reason. It might not just be him. It's the program, right? Shador, Shiloh. It's something in that program. Same thing here. Like we're talking about transfer portal and NIL. That's number 1 and 2 discussions you can argue in college football for the next until it changes. Unless it maybe never changes. I don't know. But now it's going to be revenue sharing. Then it's going to be something else. And I don't know, man. This is a slippery slope when we get to talking about unionizing and employees of something that you've never even had a job at McDonald's yet, but you now are going to be beneficiary of a college employment W-2. Now, are you paying tax? Like, there's so many things that they have not thought of. So it's a different deal. I want to dive into this, though. This is what caught my attention, and I think I can give you a great perspective from someone that's helped many brothers move on and get jobs at the D1 level like I have. But I wanted to show the audience the discussion you guys had yesterday. Take a listen.
We aren't seeing black coaches being able to elevate and take that step. Why is that such a hard thing for us to get to, and only having 8% of coaches that are black in college football right now in 2024?
If you get into it, you don't get into an elevator on the 4th floor to go to floor 8. You have to start at the ground floor, which is floor 1. And I think the biggest thing regarding black coaches and why there's so much of a struggle is many young guys do not know the barrier for entry into the profession. Most guys that are playing major college football that I talk to, they are dreaming of the National Football League. So what happens is they end up spending the majority of their 20s chasing playing football. When they don't get drafted, when they don't make a roster, they want to go play arena ball. They'll go play semi-pro ball. They'll go play ball in Japan. So now they end up 30, 32. They got a wife. They got 2 kids. They can't afford at that point to go be a GA and work the entry-level jobs. So they're not able to get in at the point of entry. They don't have a sense of what am I going to do when I don't make it to the league, right? I'm not going to the NFL. I've got my evaluation back. The scouts are telling me I'm not a draft pick. My head coach is telling me I'm not a draft pick. But I did get the education, which is what every parent tells you they want from their kid when they go to college. That's often we find out that that's not the most important thing to them. That's not the truth. So they're not educated and or willing to be a graduate assistant or start off in a low-level analyst job. The spaces that you need to do to work your way up and build the relationships that you need to build in order to climb through the coaching ranks so you can be in some of those key positions, because most of them spend their time chasing football. And it's not just coaching. You can be an agent. You can be in media like us. There's a lot of lanes within football where you can have success, and guys have to be able to accept when they're not going to the National Football League. And if they were to go online, you see what these coaches are making. You can still buy your mom a house and take care of your family in a major way by coaching the game of football.
Carl, it's interesting. I tell people that all the time. When do you know to stop trying to chase the money and make it to the NFL, which we all were born into believing we're going to make it to the league as high school kids or Pop Warner, we want to play in the league. Number one, to address that, I don't know if they're as hungry as we once were. I don't think football – we had a kid that just got drafted and retired before he even went through OTAs to be a TikToker. And it's crazy, Coach, because like you look at it like the dream that we worked our butt off since little kids all the way to make it, and you get drafted. It has to start resonating with GMs, head coaches to say, okay, are we really evaluating these cats out of college to waste a draft pick on a cat that didn't even play for us? He got a little first round check though. So I'm trying to figure out if the investment is really there. Cause I look at the kids' bodies, Coach. I look at everything. I don't think it's even close to what it is. We got 900 injuries in the NFL last year, all-time high, most of them being soft tissue. That tells me that something's not right in the workout regimen or the investment in their body. No one wants to have that discussion, though. But it is what it is. And you brought up some interesting points. I used to tell these cats, like, man, that's why I was giving away free housing and board in Indy to get the young coaches there. I can't pay you, but guess what? What I would have did at 21 to go coach for free, but I could live for free. Shit, I'd have been doing that anywhere in the country. I'd have went to anywhere and did that. But I don't believe we have the right people telling these youngsters, dog, it's time to get into this profession. My question to you is, when do you do it? Like Trent Richardson's on here all the time during football season, and you know, he obviously got drafted. He made it and played for the Colts and the Raiders and had a pretty decent career. It wasn't the career he wanted coming out of Alabama as one of the best ever, maybe out of Alabama. But he came in and he says today, Eddie George, who I talk to all the time, and I help talk to his staff all the time about recruiting. Same thing. He's like, man, I wish I could have changed it. I was a Heisman winner. Of course, I knew I was getting drafted, but like at some point, I wish I knew when to cut it off, and I would have went right back into GAing and got my degree and went back to GAing at Ohio State. And knowing Urban Meyer and knowing these guys, I could have probably been a head coach at a Power 5 by now. And when do you cut that off, I guess?
Well, because nobody tells those guys the truth. I don't think most guys that play don't have self-awareness, especially when they're playing or when they're trying to play. So I'll use, and I'll give you one example. I had a kid that played for me, Ronell Perkins. He started at the University of Missouri, but he didn't make it to the NFL. He went as an undrafted free agent to the 49ers. They cut him. CFL, you get cut. XFL, you don't make the team. Well, they're telling you that you're not going to play in the league when that happens, right? So he goes through the second round of tryouts, and he's like, well, coach, I'm thinking about going to Japan. I think, no, your former college coach at Mizzou, Barry Odom, has a GA spot open at UNLV. You're going to go to UNLV and you're going to be a GA. Well, he goes and he GAs. Barry eventually bumps him up to an analyst. Now he's getting paid. He's one of the top young DB coaches in the country. And if you look at the trajectory of his career, he's going to end up making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 as a DB coach. You're learning how to do the whole defense from one of the best defensive minds in football. He's going to make exponentially more money than guys who played in the NFL that played, the 3-year average. But you have to push him in that direction because he was well prepared in that moment with no direction to go to Japan and play football. Well, who does that ever work out for, right? So you got to be honest with guys. I remember, JB, I was at an FCS game. I was watching Lindenwood play Murray State, right? One of my former players was playing. And I turned to, and I played in that league. I played at Austin Peay. And I turned around to one of my buddies during the middle of the game, and I said, damn, man, who in the hell allowed me to think that I was going to the NFL from here, right? Why did they, even at 18, 19, and 20 years old, allow me to believe that? Why did they not have me prepared to go right into coaching? Why did they not have me prepared to go be a GA? Why did nobody have that conversation with me? And that's the truth. The NFL is going to let you know if you're not going to the league. When you get your evaluation back from the NFL draft advisory, it's going to say you're a first-round pick, you're a second-round pick, or you're a day 3 guy, or you're going to the house. They're going to give you an opportunity to work out. And once you see that it doesn't, it's time to move on. And you just don't have to coach. You can be a coach. You can be an agent. You can be a scout. You can be a front office person. You can be in the media. You can run a scouting service. There's a lot of things that you can do to make a substantial amount of money in the game of football. But guys are so committed to playing. There was an Arena League game, here the other day with the Nashville Cats, and you watch that game and you say, man, how many of these guys would be making a lot more money coaching if somebody would have said, you know what, bro, you're probably not going to the NFL from here. And we all are going to Kurt Warner did it. You know what I mean? We're looking at Kurt Warner. Well, I mean, Kurt Warner did do it, but he was the player of the year in the FCS, and he won 4 Arena Bowl. Like, he's an outlier. Yeah, but for the most part, it's not going to happen. And so when you don't go into being a GA, when you don't go in and say, well, man, I got an opportunity to go to one of the top JUCOs and have free housing, at the point of entry, right? You're not giving yourself an opportunity to get into the profession at the level that you want to be in?
Yeah, 1%er, Kurt Warner. Like people have to understand they're not in that 1 percentile. And I don't know when they tell them. I tell them that shit all the time. I'm like, man, listen, son, you're not going to even go D1. So if you're not, you need to come coach with my butt because I know you have some. Like Alan in the chat, who was a D1 quarterback, Hialeah, and I brought him to Garden City. And I don't know if you and Alan know each other yet. You know, Alan and you should be talking because he's JUCO. He runs that stuff on that side. But like he knew, got into coaching. I gave him some references. He got in, and like 13 other guys I got coaching D1. Coy Dang right now, who played at Cal, who was on the same team with Jermaine, who got a shot with the Falcons. He's now at Oregon State. I got him up there. Another kid that played for one of my best friends, Kalani, at BYU, hired one of my other kids who you probably know and helped out. So like, there's a lot of this going on, but I want to address this, and I want to bring Matt in. He just hopped in. I'm gonna bring him in about 2 minutes. I want to address and just ask that question before you leave. I want to address one thing about the young brothers getting jobs, and here's my take on it, coming from a white boy from Compton who's helped nothing but brothers my whole life. Here's the take I got. Like, people don't want to talk about it and have this conversation. The brothers are, they have to be hired. And I say have to because this is how crazy it is in this business. It's a meat market, not only for black players, but for black coaches. No one wants to have this conversation. The young brother is to do what? Recruit the brother.
Recruit.
90% of the rosters in college football. Recruit the brothers and then make sure that they're not getting out of hand and out there robbing McDonald's or messing around the dorm with the girls. We know the real, but they don't want to have these conversations on ESPN and all these other things.
That is the absolute truth. They're using the recruit to go sit at the family reunion so everybody likes them and they convince them to come back.
Track me.
School. Yeah, that's the truth.
Like, and the cool part is, though, here's the crazy part that no one's going to talk about. They don't get to move up, coach.
No, they pigeonhole them.
Happens. They put them down there to say, you're going to running back coach or the tight end coach. You'll never get better. Coach, I played DB at college. It don't matter. We need you over here. You're going to learn how to be a GA first. But I need you to really control Johnny and these cats from going
What they do, JP, they pay them enough to quit their dreams.
Analysts.
I met with so many guys, and once they start hitting that 400,000 or 500,000 mark and up, I mean, you got to think we got guys in the SEC and Big Ten making $800,000 to coach 3 guys, right? But they're excellent recruiters. And so now when jobs come open, when potential head coaching jobs come open, they haven't coordinated, they haven't coached one of the key positions, and they're not pushing the needle because they don't want to lose their salary, because now your kid's in private school, your wife doesn't work, you don't want to give up the lifestyle, so they're really paying you enough to quit your dreams. I asked a really good coaching friend of mine who's one of the best coaches in the nation, and I said, when these jobs come open, is your agent even discussing with you the head jobs that come open in Conference USA or the Sun Belt? No, but he's going to bounce from position job to position job within the SEC. He's going to always help somebody else win, but he's never going to get the opportunity to really run a program. And then they start paying you so much that even if an FCS job comes open, they just can't make the money make sense on a pay cut like that. So it is a systematic situation, but they're going to use you to recruit. I interviewed Deshaun Foster, the head coach at UCLA, last week, and one of the things he stressed to me was you cannot, under any circumstances, allow yourself to be pigeonholed as a recruiter. And even if they're not giving you the education that you need to improve yourself as a coach, you got to go out of your way to get the education yourself.
Yeah,
you got
here's the thing. Like, not to cut you off, I think this is what the main issue is. I'm gonna bring Matt in here to discuss it for 1 minute. If you got 2 minutes left, I gotta ask you, like, they're never trained to be a head coach. They manage 0 scholarship dollars. They manage 0 budget. They have no clue how to order transportation. They don't have any clue on how to be a head coach and what that job and this seat actually entails, because you are the manager of your position and don't worry about nothing else. And when a head job comes open, you're the best recruiter on the staff. You're probably the best position coach on the staff. The players love you. And you have the relationship with every damn brother on that team as the recruiter who got them. And then the head coach ultimately is the guy that said, oh, hey, I'm out. Good job for that, though. I just left from Temple to go take the Miami job in Manny Diaz's instance. And now, guess what? Where are those assistants? I didn't take the assistants. You weren't good enough to come with me to Miami, quote unquote. So, it's crazy. I want to bring in Matt real quick. And I want to have this. Matt, good morning. Carl Reed, 247 Sports, gave you a compliment. He thinks you're a great O-line coach. He thinks you're a great O-line coach. I said, Matt's just an asshole who yells. He's not no damn coach. But we had a great conversation, Matt, and I don't want to take Carl's time. He's been on 30 minutes. He brought up a fact that he said he don't know about unionizing. He said that he can see why you like it. He said that he thinks if he was the kid, this is speaking from the kid's perspective, he thinks the kid should leave it as it is and want it as it is. I know you've been talking about unionizing with me for years on this show. Carl, explain that real quick to him as to why, and then I want to hear Matt's take, and then before you leave out of here, I appreciate you coming on.
I feel like with unionizing, it's going to limit the money that the top guys can make. It's going to put a cap on it for those guys. If I was one of those guys, I wouldn't want it. But it is going to be beneficial to guys that are backups, to guys that are at the lower end of the roster, making sure that they get paid an amount of money that they probably wouldn't under the current landscape. So being an offensive line guy, I would understand why you would think that, that makes sense for those guys, because they may not get the same money as a quarterback, as a receiver, as some of those guys in the marketing world. But if I was one of the top players in the country, I wouldn't want that at all. Not even if I was one of the top offensive linemen that was going to get drafted in the first or second round, because they're getting paid quite as much as well in collective and guaranteed marketing deals.
Okay, I mean, look, the top players are always going to get the biggest piece of the pie. In the NFL, it's no different. There's a bunch of league minimum cats, just like you were just talking about, that play for 3 or 4 years and then fade away, and guys who make generational wealth and have fuck you money. So I guess I want the college kids to get a piece of the revenue from the television deals. That's the main part for me. So I don't know how you don't unionize and make that happen. So if everybody can show me a model where they can get revenue sharing with the TV deals and with everything else that happens like the NFL players do, because that's where the real money is and everybody knows it. So I think it's a travesty that all these kids run out there and give away their talent, and they just hope that I deal with NIL collectives and people, and they're cheap as fuck, and they don't want to give anybody any money, and they are all full of shit, and all of them are blowing smoke up these kids' asses because they do not have anybody working for them. And then I'm a football consigliere. I'm not an agent or anything, because there's no agents in college football, but that's another problem. There's nobody sitting there telling them that this is bullshit. So of course kids are going to jump at things that aren't, that don't have any longevity. I think that the NIL it works for Travis Hunter and Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning and shit. That's great. That it's going to work for them. They're superstars. Unless it's working for everyone, because you need everyone to do this. You can't just parade Travis Hunter and Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning and Shedeur Sanders and all these big timers out and play football without everybody else, the most important parts of the team, which are your offensive and defensive linemen. And ask Shedeur and Coach Prime and Travis Hunter last year if they had any offensive and defensive linemen that could fucking play, they would have been an 8-4 football team instead of a 4-8 football team, period. So yeah, as an offensive and defensive line guy, I probably do think that everybody needs to be unionized, because I want people to get paid what they're worth, and acting as if the superstars are the only ones and then that's the problem. When superstars look at this model and go, well, I can just get paid out the ass, but fuck all these other guys. Eventually all the other guys, just like the country we live in, is going to say, nah, I don't like this model. This sucks. And
hey, let me ask you this, Carl. Let me ask you guys this.
Without the grunts, there is no shine. Everyone needs to remember that shit. Without all the grunts, there are no fucking superstars.
And that's Carl's point. That's why he figured you would like it. I got to ask you this, though, both of you, like to Matt's point. There's a reason, in my opinion, the collectives are becoming a little more hesitant to throw that bag out there when we have a portal that's open, it seems like 27 times, 24/7, 365. So when these guys are bouncing after they get a bag or an offer, it seems like I would be hesitant as a money guy as well, Carl, to throw out money. So we got a huge issue.
With a lot of these collectives, though, one of the reasons they're hesitant is because a lot of them don't have the money that people think that they have. And so you're asking guys to keep writing checks. Even when you're talking about millionaires and billionaires, they're only going to write checks so many times. There was a defensive lineman in the SEC last year. I'm not going to name him or the school, but he went to the pros early. And when him and I talked, I said, why are you going to the pros, bro? You got a day 3 grade. You need to go back to school. Well, he was promised $400,000 and didn't get one check. This is at a big-time SEC program. A lot of these guys are not getting paid. A lot of them don't have their agreements wrote on contracts. There are SEC schools right now that are not able to make payroll next month for their collective. They're out raising money right now so they can pay the bills of the money that they've already promised out. So the collective model is not a sustainable model either, because those guys are not working with the amount of money that people think they are. But the players are kind of out of whack because they believe everything they read on the internet and they think everybody's making $1 million and they're not. And there are several players that are just too embarrassed to say, I don't really have no money, bro. I haven't gotten paid anything that I was supposed to get paid. And I even forfeited my Pell Grant because I'm supposed to be getting paid this amount of money. And I'm really
Carl,
stuck out there right now.
It's not just fucking spat. Just spitting things.
We've been saying this. I told Matt, I said, if the kids really knew and a cat set them down and that actually cared for the kid and not just goddamn chasing the bag as a coach and leaving from job to job, which I think they should be able to do as a grown man because they've earned that right. But at the same time, if you're going to promise a kid and leave them, I think you're a coward and you're a liar to a bunch of kids who you use as a piece of meat in this meat market. But to your point, I'm like, dog, we're talking about this. The average NIL deal is $350. See, nobody wants to talk about it, and no one wants to bring it up because you see Caleb Williams, Shedeur Sanders making $2, $3, $4 million. But when it's $350 in that locker room, to Matt's point, and I'm looking as the left guard as the backup, and I'm looking across, and I'm hearing Nick Saban rip my ass, and then I'm looking at him like, hold on, I just protected your Heisman quarterback on a natty, and I make $400. Like, I'm leaving.
I'm going to speak on this on personal experience right now, being a business owner that works with kids in NIL, okay? My own guys that I've been working with since they were 14, 15, 16 years old that go to college and play their asses off, and a lot of them, and they're in the NFL, okay? I can't get my own college guys to appreciate the worth of $1 with my own body bag, the 60 equipment company. So my deal is I'll send you a bag. It's worth $1,000. I'll give it to you. I'll give you a promo code. And then every time you sell a bag, whether you're Trey Zune at Texas A&M or you're Cole Taylor at West Virginia or you're Jake Wiley at Houston or whoever, or you're Josh Bates at Oklahoma, like whether you're one of these big time guys that's starting for one of these schools. Cole Taylor was second team all Big 12 last year. Going to be a draft pick. So Trey Zune started 40 straight games at A&M from Fort Collins. Fucking big tackle who's an athlete. Is going to be a draft pick. I can't get them or the NIL collectives because it's a bunch of smug assholes who just want to deal with multi-million-dollar deals to understand the benefit of starting somewhere. Like, I want to see if you can handle this part of the business in order for me to give you more money and more responsibility as a business. And then once you have an NIL deal, it feels the next NIL deal. And all these kids are so goddamn smug, and their parents are so smug. And the coaches and the NIL people, not the coaches because they're not really involved. The NIL people are so smug. I sent a bag to Trey Zune to Texas A&M. They won't even allow him to put it on social media, and they won't allow him to do the media deal or the NIL deal because it didn't go through them. Well, I thought this was name, image, and likeness. He's one of my players before he was at Texas A&M. In fact, I sent him there. So my thing is, like, if the kids don't understand the starting point, if they
value of $1,
if they can't put a value of $1 on the table, exactly, how can you expect, if you can't make $100 and humble yourself that way and show you can sell something with your name, image, and likeness? How in the hell are you ever going to make $1 million?
But Matt, the
reason they're all chasing that one.
This is my point. No one understands how to build. I had to build into a player and getting my NFL pension. I had to change positions. I had to get cut. I had to eat shit, so on and so forth. I didn't have NIL. But I'll tell you one thing: if I did in college, I damn sure wouldn't be telling somebody as a small business owner in the community, no, it's not good enough.
Go ahead, Carl.
4 years ago, you were getting a stipend check, you smug fucking brat. Like these kids have got to understand they're the problem too. It's not just the NIL guys. There's a problem with the generation too. It's a problem thinking, and coach has said this a million times. I don't know how many coaches he's had on here, and I used to think one way, and now I think a totally different way. It is a systemic problem with the kids thinking that they've earned this shit because they put on pads. You do not fucking earn this just because you have pads on. Period.
So, Matt, the thing with that, though, the players don't want to sell the product. They want you to just give them the money.
Well, that's my point. Why would I do that as a business owner?
But that also goes with when you put them in a collective bargaining situation, so because you want everybody to get paid equally, that's really the same thing. That they're getting something for nothing. Because a guy put on the pads and he's a second-string offensive lineman or a third-string offensive lineman that never plays, I don't think he deserves part of the team.
Time out. So you're saying that through the NFL collective bargaining agreement, because I was a backup my whole career, I don't deserve my pension?
No, that's not what I'm saying. You're moving the fence. That's apples and oranges. At that point, you've made it into the National Football League, which is the highest level of football. In college, you're not in the National Football League yet. So you don't deserve a piece of the revenue if you're a third-string offensive lineman in college. So the guy that is the third-string guard at Temple, he deserves TV revenue sharing.
Well, yeah, because a year from now he could be the starting All-American guard that goes to the league. That's the way it works.
When he does that, then he should get paid. When he does that,
but so much of football is on potential. So much of football is on potential. These kids that are in high school right now that are Brett Cloutier and Reese Russell, okay? Matt Russell's son, Butkus Award winner, Matt Russell, okay? And Reese Russell, his son's a sophomore. And then Brett Cloutier was at Valor here, has like 30 offers, just got fucking Alabama and LSU last week. He's going to be a junior. They are both going to be throwing a ton of money their way to see where they're going to school. And it's not like, oh, well, we've got a nice chemistry department. They don't give a shit about that, and they shouldn't. But they're being offered on potential. Why are they any different?
Well, what happens when they go and they don't bust a grape in college? Then what? Then how do you reconcile?
You got to pay them to get them there, though.
Or to Carl's point, I think, what if they transfer though from the third string in between seasons where they've already got revenue sharing and they don't even play for my school?
Well, what if they don't? What if they go there and they live up to potential and ball the fuck out?
Then they deserve everything that's coming to them for that.
Yeah,
but they're getting it before, guys. But hold on, they're getting it before. So if you're a 4 or 5 star recruit, you can get it before. But if you're a 3-star recruit, you have to earn it when you get there. That's fucking bullshit. That's just some.
No. I think Carl said NIL.
No,
but the 247 rankings and like all the nerds in those rooms, I don't know how many times they've been wrong, but it's a fucking lot.
But there's two different things going on. That's what I think Carl and I are saying. Not to disagree with you on that part, but my point is, NIL now is becoming separate than what this revenue sharing is going to be. Revenue sharing is going to be the NFL salary, so to speak. NIL is going to be extra.
I'm not advocating for the backup guy to make as much as the starter.
No, I know.
That's not what I'm saying at all. Yeah. I am saying, though, there's a way, and a very productive way, that will keep people on rosters and under contract that you can develop and actually build something. It just like they do in the NFL. Don't act like the NFL isn't a foundation league. The teams that fucking draft well are the teams that win the 90% of the time. So if you recruit well and you can actually have a foundation to pay some of these guys and keep them around, isn't it right to pay for potential if you believe in your development? Because that's really what I think the problem is. So many of these coaches are hired, just like you guys just said, just to manage and make sure guys aren't doing stupid shit. Well, are you being hired to develop the talent that you bring in, or are you being hired to manage the talent that you bring in? Because a manager is a friend, a developer is a coach, and those are two very different things. So if you look at some of the schools around the country that do a good job developing, what's the traits that they have that some of these other schools don't have? where they're going places where they get a bunch of 4 and 5 star kids who transfer and don't feel like they're developed because they're being managed rather than coached.
So on the developmental, but Matt, on the developmental end, though, what happens to the guard that has 4 O-line coaches in 4 years? So that's the other side of it. So
you should have picked a better school.
Okay, well, I mean, that's easy to say. You know what I mean? But
I had the same defensive line coach and the same head coach for all 5 years in college. I know it's a different era, but still.
But coach, come on now, you played a long time ago, though.
Yeah,
you know
but
I
I
mean?
just said it was a long time ago. Pretty rare, but to act like it doesn't happen is also not true. There's guys that go places and stay with the same coach the whole time, and there's guys that go places and have 10 different coaches.
You are if you fortunate enough to play at if you fortunate enough to be good enough out of high school to play at Oklahoma or Georgia or Alabama, one of those places, there is going to be some consistency in coaches. But that goes back to what you originally said, when there's only a handful of guys that are able to go to those type of situations.
Yeah, I agree. I
think there's more kids that could go if coaches back full circle. And this is a great conversation, bro. But a full circle, like, I can't tell you how many coaches stand there in my gym and watch, and the same kid the same exact player who's better a lot of the cases is a 3-star and the other kid's a 4-star, and they just look at their screen and they're like, oh, well, he's a 4-star and he's a 3-star. I can't recruit him because he's a 3-star. And I'm like, that's some coward bullshit. That is some straight coward bullshit. That's
a different conversation. We can have that conversation.
This is the way you lose, bro, by ignoring film and looking at stars. But the star, you know this, stars get guys paid, though.
They do.
Like, they take players off of stars, and there's guys, you know this too. There are parents and coaches out there in high school that pay these places, 247 and Rivals and these people behind closed doors and fucking tickle balls to get their guys right.
I've never had my balls tickled.
Well, man,
hey,
we got
Carl.
people.
Hey, Carl,
Carl.
Hey, man, I can't thank you enough for having this conversation. We got to do it again, Carl. We got to do it again because I know you like the real stuff. Hey, Carl, there's a whole nother conversation that this goes into as well. It talks about why I think JUCO is imploding and why high school football, at the end of the day, is our blood life. That's no longer our blood life. It's going to run out. The blood life is now the portal, and it's eventually going to run itself dry. And we are going to sit here and waste high school and junior college talent. And junior college may implode because they can't fund it. They don't have the resources. And if cats aren't leaving 4 years to go back to JUCO, which was the original portal, and the reason why we made that way, I don't see how it's sustainable. I think we're losing.
What about Dabo, Carl? What do you think about Dabo's comment about a lot of these guys in the portal can't play Clemson? I think if it would have came from somebody other than Dabo, it would have been received better. But I think he's right.
He's right. But like I was telling JB before you got on, I do think there's 30 to 50 kids a year that he should be getting involved with that would be a great culture fit and would be able to play well at other schools. And I see him getting into that because he's one competitive dude. And I don't think he's going to be comfortable winning 8 or 9 games a year and not being in the race. I expect next season for you to, and not, he hasn't said this to me. I don't have any inside information, but just knowing how competitively fierce he is, I don't see him not wanting to compete for a national championship. So there are some great character guys that he knows that they missed out on that might have went other places that played well. If he gets the opportunity to get them, I think that he will.
Hey, Carl, you mentioned
Carl mentioned that he didn't have his nuts tickled lately, and that's unacceptable. So we've got to make sure this is not continuous.
Hey, Carl, what's the school you mentioned in Missouri? The one right outside of St. Louis.
What you say? What now?
What's the school you mentioned in Missouri?
Lindenwood.
Hey, you gotta give me that job. That motherfucker's a powerhouse waiting to happen. I'll tell you right now.
Lindenwood. They just took one of my quarterbacks last year, Tyler Cooper from Ridge, same place.
They got one of the best mega camps in the country too. JB, before I get out of here, I want to ask you something. Can JUCO football be saved?
No.
I'm sitting right here, Carl. it would happen if I was in it. I don't believe it can now without me in it.
And I'm gonna ask you.
I'm not even being cocky. I'm not even being cocky. I'm just telling you that I don't believe the kids that are being coached by certain people in the country would be leaving if I was in JUCO, because I think the attraction would say, "Oh shit, JUCO means something again." So like, and that's not being boastful. I'm just saying the fact of the matter is JUCO needs some sort of spark to say, hey, this isn't as bad as we thought. Look at Jermaine Johnson, Tank Dell. Look at the 28 other cats I got in the league. How about Aaron Rodgers, Cam Newton, Chad Johnson, Steve Smith? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, that needs to be brought back up.
I'm gonna put you on the spot in front of all your fans here, big man. I'm gonna put JB on the spot.
Yeah, what's up?
Can I get you and Jeff Sims in the room to squash the beef and go on a campaign for junior college football?
You're gonna be able not to like beat the shit out of each other?
Can I get y'all in the room?
Wouldn't be a big fight.
Number one, it'll be great television. Number two, right? Can we get in the room? It's been a lot of time has passed. You guys have also shown to be very successful businessmen away from the football field. You're doing great and he's doing great. But I know you both love junior college football. You both are really good friends of mine, and you've had some issues. And I haven't talked to Jeff about this. I'm putting you on the spot on your show. I'm going to call him too today. Can I get you and Jeff Sims in a room together? We all sit there. We air out our grievances.
I say yes.
And we move on, because I think you two guys together can save junior college football. So are you guys willing to put it all aside? Me and Big Matt will be there in the room with y'all.
I'll stand in the middle. I'll mediate.
Yeah, and we'll get it all out, right? And then we'll put a campaign together, and you and Coach Sims can go all over the country. We'll get a big sponsor, and you save junior college football.
But let me ask you, like, there has to be a means to the end. Like, what is it going to give us at the end of the day if these administrators? Not really, because here's the thing, and I know, Carl, this could be a conversation we have forever. Like, if the administration is scared of guys like Sims and I, which they are, no mistake about it. If they're the ones pulling the plug and making the decision to allow that, if they're not allowing it, my guess, I don't see the point. Just because I'm always willing for you, I'll do anything. But I'm just saying, like, I think there's an issue. Like, if there's no ends in sight, like we can actually attain, I don't know if it's worth it. Just like, that's why no one will hire me. Like, they're scared of shit. And like, look at the jobs that are coming open, Carl. Like, you should see the JUCO jobs that come open, and people hit me up, and I'm like, as soon as I talk to an administrator that finds out who I am, they're like, oh shit. And I'm like, I have no criminal record, Carl. I've won football games and sent more players to college than any JUCO coach in the country for 20 years. And yet now Netflix came out and I can't coach no more, apparently.
I think that in order for us to have that conversation, that's something that comes from us solving y'all issue with each other first. And then with everybody in the room, those ideas and those solutions can be brought to the table and come to light. It's just something to put on your mind. You don't have to answer right now.
I hear you. No, I appreciate it.
We'll talk about it offline.
No doubt.
I think you both are reasonable men, and I think enough time has passed that, you guys bring a tremendous amount of value. And I know you both deeply care about what's happened with junior college football, and I think that we still need that option for kids.
I think we should do it.
Yeah, let's talk. We'll talk off camera, and I appreciate you coming on, man. Always. We'll have to get you back on, and I got to ask you about Dion and your interview with him and Matt's interview, and talk about what you think about Shador and the real future of them. And do you think Dion will be there after next year? I want to ask you all those things. So either bring me on your show, or I'll come on you, or come back here before the season starts.
All right, let's do it, brother.
All right, Carl, appreciate you.
That's us too, JB. We gotta talk. It's a bad man right there.
Go ahead, man. I'll holler at you, brother.
All right, brother.
Peace.
Shout out to Carl for coming on 247 Sports.
Where's Smitty? Still in Mexico?
Still in Mexico, yeah. Of course. He's fucking just getting chill. I'm solo dolo for a while. I got him, you, Shaun King's next, and then Jeff to end the show. So, like, loaded lineup. Me solo, you know, I'm sore as fuck. I can't move. I moved this fucking 500-pound TV yesterday. The one same one you have right on. I moved that bitch to LA to the studio. Had to barely fit in the elevator. Me and one other guy that weighed 120 pounds. So guess who had to carry most of the fucking weight? Me.
Well, you.
and now my neck is fucked. My back's fucked. I'm not fucking 30 no more. So it is what it is. I don't even know what you're on here for anymore. I don't know what we're going to talk about. I just was like going to look at you and stare at you and think about sweet nothings. How about this?
Okay.
How about this? Before you get out of here, the Illuminati is real. Caleb Williams is in it.
Who's the little white guy?
I think that's Ruben. He's like a billionaire that owns Fanatics, the hats.
Well,
and
his jerseys suck.
Yeah, and Major League Baseball is getting rid of them.
Are you not gonna come at me all hard this morning with the Nuggets or what? Are you just gonna fucking act like it didn't happen or what?
I don't care about basketball no more, bro. It's so shitty. Like I look at the Pacers blowing.
If you don't want to talk about it, I'm getting off easy. So fuck.
Well, here's my. See, I'm not a homer though that just tries to put people down when you actually beat my team, even though you beat them twice. I mean, really, you beat them twice in playoffs. We beat you 5,000 times in playoffs. But here's my thing. I want to ask you. The playoffs, Matt, the NBA, the professional sports leagues, the NFL, the Major League Baseball, NBA, it's bad, homie. I'm just telling you the real, man. This is not what it used to be, what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be the elite of the elite. Elite of the elite.
It is not what it's supposed to be. Look,
Matt, I shouldn't watch a Game 7 in New York, in Madison Square Garden, and the home team gets beat by 30 and at home in a Game 7?
Yeah. Like, so just look at this. Every game, I think with the exception of one in the Pacers-Knicks series was a blowout. Every game with the exception of two, the Game 1 and Game 7 in Denver were blowouts, but Denver blew a 20-point lead and the biggest lead at halftime in NBA Game 7 history. And then they lost. Denver, look, in Game 6 when Denver went to Minnesota and lost by 45 points. That's it for me, bro. I'm over this shit. Like, I'm upset they lost and they don't get to repeat to a point, but at least I got to see a competitive basketball game last night, even if it was a comeback and they got the short end. At least I got to see a relatively good basketball game where you're like, oh shit, something happened. It's not just over in the second quarter. So the NBA, look, the NBA is what it is. You're always going to have a passionate fan base, but there's a disconnect, bro. I don't understand.
I'm going to tell you right now.
30-point beatdowns every night in the playoffs, and these are supposed to be the good teams.
I have a
45 points, bro. 45 points.
I got a take I want to get with you before you leave, and I think we could make this a short. But here's the thing. Here's the take I have. The poll question on ESPN's Get Up today was.
Speak, dummy.
Hold on. I'm talking to Shaun because Shaun.
English, do you speak it? What the fuck? Yeah, damn. So the Nuggets and the Timberwolves, they were fucking dueling it out, right? And it was Game 6, and they lost by 45. And then everybody's got really excited for this Game 7 piece of shit. That was a 20-point fucking lead at halftime that they blew.
All right, Shaun's running late, and so that's why I had to ask him. Let me ask you something, though. This is my take before you leave. Poll question on ESPN, left woke fucking network. This is what they said. Did Thibodeau drain his team and overwork them?
Oh, my God, dude.
So I started off on a rant already, bro, and I want to end it with you because here's the reason. This is my take as to why we're seeing a shitty-ass NBA and NFL and all these different things. You compile the narrative to get rid of the hard asses roaming our sidelines in the NFL and bring in the Mike McDaniel analytical, capri-wearing, fucking vape-smoking fucks. And then you get rid of the OG cats. And then we fucking now push the narrative with Stephen A. and all these fucks that coaching's too hard and that we should be cool and nicer to guys that make $200 million and demand them to play You wonder why. Go look at all the soft coaches in the NBA right now. How did that work out with Frank Vogel when he allowed AD to miss a shitload during his season when they actually won the bubble? How about Bradley Beal this year playing about fucking 15 games, Booker missing a shitload? How about Ty Lue that everyone loves so fucking much? Kawhi Leonard I thought was supposed to load manage so he can play in the playoffs. He didn't fucking play. How about all these other fucks? You want these soft coaches, and guess what? You're paying all this amount of money. Why don't GMs and head coaches and fucking owners see that this is the problem? And now you want to take rid of and get. My point is this, Matt, before you take over. They're trying to out the hard-nosed guy that calls your ass on the fire to the fire and holds you to the fire and calls you out. There's a reason why Jalen Brunson came back in that game with a broken hand yesterday, in my opinion. Because of Thibodeau. There's a reason why Hart played. Because of Thibodeau. But there's a reason why Kawhi didn't play, and that's because of Ty Lue. There's a difference.
Thibodeau, his number one assistant is Jalen's dad, too. Keep that in mind. So Brunson's going to play. Look,
by the way, his daddy's a hard ass, too. Brunson's dad's a hard ass.
Yeah, he's old school. Look, bro, my thing to the NBA guys is this. Why do all of you have to be 100% all the time to play? That's not a thing in our sport. Everyone's dealing with something all the time. There's so many football players that could sit out every fucking day until we're 100% and then go play. But we don't have guaranteed money, and they do. So because they have guaranteed money, they can do whatever the fuck they want, and there is no recourse, and they can just be like, fuck you, I'm not playing, I don't feel right. And they're not even hurt. I would guess that a lot of these injuries they could play through if they really tried and really wanted to, but the want isn't there. I don't think they want to do it. I think that the Nuggets got bored and they were just like, you know what? If we win, we win, and we repeat. If we don't, we don't. And at least we'll be good next year. And if it happens, it happens. Cool. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Cool. And I'm not from that fucking mentality. And they were up 3-2 with a chance to repeat, and they fucked it up. Because they're mentally soft. Jamal Murray, the way that he played in the playoffs, he hit some big shots and he had some good games from a stat perspective, but he had 35 last night or something like that. And Anthony Edwards fucking ate him alive, and he was 6 for 24 and just taking the ball from him in midcourt. Jamal Murray looks like an emaciated, fucking crackhead out there. Go hit the weight room, bro. I mean, for God's sakes, do you give a shit at all? Maybe the reason you're hurt all the fucking time is because you don't take care of yourself ever, and you're just super lazy. So I'm sorry, bro, but a guy who can't shave his own neckline, if you have a beard and you can't shave it up and you're constantly looking like 5 o'clock shadow, you're just lazy as fuck, and that's the number one precursor.
And the number one is starting up your day. I got trying to get Smitty to fucking make your bed when you get up. That's the first fucking thing to start your day, but nobody wants to listen to me on that. But here's my take on this, though.
Smitty doesn't make his bed?
Not when he gets up.
Do you think Harrison Buckner's wife makes his bed?
Yes. Shout out to her, by the way. Shout out to all the real women out there that want to fucking have a fucking. The cool part is, though, that we everyone's giving me shit on my DMs and shit because I brought up the fact that Tyreek Hill, and everyone's like, well, Tyreek Hill has nothing to do with this. I go, dick face. Do you understand the comparison I'm making, right? Tyreek Hill has 10 baby mamas. Tyreek Hill has 10 kids from 5 baby mamas. The comparison was, I give a fuck what that shitbird does. My take was that we're arguing the difference between a fucking organic, family that this guy is saying that this is what I think people are missing, and from a guy that's just out here fucking everything and having a baby by everything. There's that,
and he's married and he's having kids with 3 other women.
It was a nuclear family discussion. It wasn't shit about. I didn't give a fuck about Tyreek Hill and his fucking what he does with his dick, motherfucker. I'm talking about the nuclear discussion was the fact that Buckner brought it up, and all you fucking cancel. By the way, the people that are canceling him are left, white, fucking shitty males.
Who cares? That's my thing. That's my thing. All you cancel culture people out there, my balls. That's what you get. Fuck y'all. You guys, I'm so tired of all of you. For years, you've been stuffing this down everybody's throat. People have different opinions. You can't just fucking cry every time something doesn't go your way, bro.
Yeah.
It makes people like us want to fucking poke you more because you're so fucking soft. It's like on the field when you find the one bitch. Like, you remember in The Water Boy when they're doing the fucking onside kick and he goes, him, and he looks at the one dude and his eyes are all big and he's shading. He goes, there's my bitch. Well, that's the way I feel about all these people. There's my bitch, and I know I can just say one or two keywords, and they're going to freak the fuck out, and it's going to be the end of the world for them, and they're going to go home and cry in their pillow and rub their comfort dog and try and figure out what they feel like today.
Yeah, I mean, find the duck. That's what I mean. Fuck, what corner do I pick on? If I get up to the line of scrimmage and this guy's pressed and this guy's off 3 yards and we got hitches on, guess what? Find the duck. Like, I don't understand why people don't do it. I want to break this down. Last thing to your point originally on why these guys are doing what they're doing. You said that they lack, they don't want, the lack of want to. I disagree for this reason. I think we've allowed it. I think the coaches have allowed them, because you know a kid that you coach right now at 6'0", if you give him an inch, he will take a yard like this. If you say, all right, relax for a minute. Now, I mean, unless they're totally trained now, this is the thing. This is why we have an issue.
Well, okay, that's truth. If
they're not under a super legitimate culture and philosophy.
First day, if I don't write them, they're cheating.
But look at the landscape, Matt. We got guys transferring 3, 4, 5, 6 times in college football, getting coached by 6 different philosophies. You don't think that's already 6 different leashes they've allowed to lengthen? Because now I'm like, oh, I can leave anytime it gets hard. I can go to a new coach and test his waters out. And that coach, 90% of the time, is probably going to let you have a leash because they paid you. They're scared to lose you, and you can't lose these guys in the portal right now because you can't get the other one back. And guess what? The one you get back, Matt, is the same guy you just lost because they're in the portal. So, like, I just don't understand the philosophy on this whole thing because we've allowed Kawhi Leonard to miss. We've allowed these guys to miss and load manage games at an all-time rate. 900 in the NFL, Matt, from soft tissue.
Look, I think it's a player thing, though, too, because
it is. The one is there.
Michael Jordan's not going to allow, like, Scottie Pippen did it, and Mike didn't talk to him for like a fucking year, bro, and hated him. And like wanted to kill him, and like they were at each other's necks because
look at Shaq and Kobe, Kobe and Shaq.
Fucking, like the Spurs, those guys didn't fucking sit around and bitch about load management. They wanted to go win, and they let Popovich coach the fuck out of them because they wanted to win. So I don't know how much guys really. I think that, like, look, I think Jokic is hurt today. I just don't think he knows how to explain it. But I don't think Jamal Murray and Michael Porter wanted to win. I think that they just wanted the playoffs to be over so they could go on vacation. They got a ring last year. Maybe they're good. What? This is the classic. We're good enough. We'll be back next year. Well, that's not the way it works. The fucking Bucks just won a title like 2-3 years ago, and I thought they would be on a run forever. They haven't even got back to the finals, and Giannis is hurt all the fucking time.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, there's no want, dog. You're right with the want part on these professionals, but like at the same time, I think the coaches that they're hiring, this is why ESPN's pushing in there to get rid of a hard nose. Get rid of a hard nose guy.
Yeah, but timeout. Maybe it's just the enigma here, but Coach Malone is hard as fuck. He's cursing on ESPN today, mad as hell. Yeah. Like if he can't get these guys,
that's my point. Yeah, it's my point.
What do we do?
That's my point, dog. Look at Popovich. He's been shit for how long now?
Well, he doesn't have. You give Popovich some players, and they're going to go back to the finals.
I get it, but maybe
you can't coach up scrubs in the NBA. You can coach. No. You can coach up a bad football team to work around shit that's bad and play good defense and like make the playoffs. You ain't going to win nothing, but you can make the playoffs. I've been on teams like that. The 2 teams I made the playoffs with in the NFL, we both lost in the fucking wild card round with the Jets and the Dolphins, and they were both dog shit teams. The year before with the Dolphins, they were 1-15, and the next year we were 11-5. So you can do that in football. In basketball, if you have like 8-10 guys that are just try hard, or like one Victor Wembanyama, whatever his name is, and then a bunch of other dudes I don't even know, you're going to be dead last in the West. So they need to get 2 or 3 more guys with him, and they'll be back. That's why he's sticking around, because he knew that the fucking NBA would rig it so he could get another big guy. This is the 3rd time. He got David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and now Victor. Holy shit.
Let's end it with this real quick before we move on. I got to end this before you get out of here. This is I want to get your
I will say this. They just brought this up. Nas Reed fucking murdered Jokic, bro. The entire series. He was whipping his ass. And I love Jokic. He's one of my favorite players to watch, but bro, they got to get him some help. Like you've got to move Jokic to the 4 and fucking get KCP off the floor and put Michael Porter at the shooting guard. And then fucking get a big body that can go down there and get rebounds and play defense on the other side of Nikola, because everybody else did it. The Celtics went and got Porzingis. The fucking Minnesota went and got Rudy Gobert. And even though Nikola Jokic eats Rudy Gobert alive, I got to take my hat off to Rudy last night, bro. Rudy played his balls off. And it didn't matter how many times Jokic went at him and scored. He always came back harder. And in the end, he's the one that made the game-winning plays for them to move on. I take my hat off to Minnesota, bro. I know that that's a starving fan base, and they haven't made the conference final in 20 years, so it's very similar to like the Nuggets last year. I'd like to see Minnesota go win this. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I told you earlier though, they had no shot without Bruce Brown, and I don't know shit about basketball, but I just knew that. I said that also before the season that the Bucks had no shot gaining Dame Lillard and losing Holiday, and guess what? What do I know? But let me get your take on this.
What?
That's the Browns' new helmet.
It's awesome. It looks like the Browns' old helmet. What are you talking about?
Hell yeah, hell no.
It looks like the 80s Browns. That shit's fucking dope.
All right, so why do you think there's a shield on the face?
Why is there a shield on the helmet? Because it looks awesome? What difference? I wore a shield my entire life. What are you trying to get at?
It's to stop Deshaun Watson from seeing his eyes look at all the bitches that he wants to massage them. Anyway, we're moving on. I got to take commercial. It's to cover Deshaun's eyes on the sideline. He's looking at all the bitches he wants to massage. Hey, who's going to massage me next? Right there. That motherfucking bitch right there. That bitch right there.
We need one of those for the fucking Mile High MILF Hunter. He's going to be scoping.
Hey, by the way, the Pacers are going to be – they're in the Eastern Conference Finals. This is a team the Lakers dog shit beat the fuck out of in the play-in tournament. That's just the difference between the East and the West this year. By the way, the NBA.
The Pacers and the Lakers can't play in a play-in tournament. They're in the East and West.
No, they played in the fucking tournament this year. The Lakers won it.
In the mid-season tournament.
Yeah. Sorry. The mid-season tournament. We got the play-in tournament. We got the fucking all-star play-in game.
I'm not validating it. I just said they are two different things.
I know. I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm sorry. I called it wrong because there's 17
all good, man.
tournaments.
Hey, it's all good, dude. It's all good. Jill, don't have a heart attack on the show.
17 goddamn play-in tournament. There's a fucking 10 seed could beat the 9 seed, but they're not out. They can still beat the winner of the 7 and the 8, but if the 8 wins and they're out, the 9 jumps the 8 and is in, and then the 10 gets a 2-game elimination.
That's my excuse why the Nuggets lost, because they didn't get to play in the midseason tournament. They didn't get that extra seasoning. They could have used those 3 games to get better.
Yeah. Fucking, it's a joke. All right, Matt. I'll see you Wednesday.
I'll be there, man.
All right.
Hey, Bailey, text me and tell me if I can just use the last 35 minutes here on my show, because the fuck. I'm just going to repeat myself. Goodbye.
Later. Pound that like, man. The realest show on planet Earth. I got a lot going on. Shaun King will join us tomorrow with me, and he'll join us this week as we break down quarterbacks in each division, 4 at a time. I'm going to take a commercial break. I'm going to come back with Bailey before Jeff jumps on, and we're going to talk NFC West. And I'm going to get you to get Bailey's going to give you a take on the Seattle Seahawks you might be shocked about. Don't miss it. We'll be back in 4. Here, this is the infamous one of the palm trees at Ash 8.
Can't fucking believe you. See this fucking belt? You see it? Who just eats a whole fucking palm tree, man? You guys are fucking shitting. Just fucking unearthed the motherfucker. Ate the whole fucking thing. Like, who eats a whole fucking palm tree? Like, you fucking shitting me? Are you fucking shitting me? Now let's shake. Now, who did it? I'm gonna look at the fucking camera. Who fucking did it? Sit down.
Sit down. Sit. Sit down. Now, do we understand each other? Excuse me. There is no more fucking up palm trees. I'm tired of spending all this money, and now I've created a whole fucking barricade for you. So I don't want to have to dig this bitch out. I'm fucking dead. I'm old. My back hurts. I'm fucking stiff as a porn dick. Come here. Sit down. Sit down. Boy, if you don't sit your ass down. Now, you come over here with me. Come on. Here's what I had to do to fucking stop you. And I got a better, beautiful, bigger tree. So now we are shitting in tall grass. Replanted it, bitch. Soiled it up. Put a little trellis in here. Put a bunch of fucking stones. Look like Stonehenge around this bitch. And now, Ash, are you gonna fucking try to dig this bitch out? Are you gonna do this? Are you gonna do this again? So I had to. Ash, remember this? Remember you ate this? Did you do this? He ate once. I put this little moat around it. And just a sitting area. Come over here. We got the slapstick basketball court and driving range. So if I ever want to pull out the big dog, that's our net. All we do is just slap down our driving range, you know. Bam, swing away. And that's where we swing into the net. Jimmy crack corn on this hoop. And here's my RV parking where I park the whips. Let's take you out and show you a few. Out these double gates, I'll show you a few cars. Come on out. So right here, of course, is the bad boy. The last year they made this Cadillac EXT, one of a kind. Can't find these anywhere. And then you come out here, you got the 650i, BMW, rag top, 500 to the rear, white interior. You know, you can't beat it. This is my baby though, my truck. Full sound, custom sound system in both. Top notch, only as I do. And obviously, this is my crib. Oops. All right, that's JB's Cribs. Appreciate you jumping by, coming by. Listen, it's time to go. Now take your asses and get the hell out of here. I'm about to go cook some slapstick tri-tip. It's been a pleasure. Now go home. Peace. Get to look down on the property. That'll do it. Real Coach JB's Cribs. Peace. All right, let's move on. We got about 10 minutes before Jeff joins us. Talk all things Merciless. I want to bring in Bailey for a minute. We're going to talk NFL schedule. All right, we're going to talk NFL schedule, and I want to bring him in to discuss this. Bailey, what up? All right, here we go. Yeah, my bad. You run the shit. All right. You muted.
All right, here we go. What up, everybody?
All right, Bailey. Bailey's in. Make sure you follow Bailey, man, on his channel. He's getting some great guests. He's doing a good job on his show. It's on YouTube. It's trying to grow. That's what she said. So make sure you follow him on his channel, as Bailey's the one behind the scenes doing all this work. All right, Bailey, this is the NFC schedule.
49ers right now.
This is the Niners. Let's get into your Seahawks.
Let's go Hawks here.
All right. This is the Seahawks. Now, I got inside information about the Seahawks from my great friend who runs DV Sport, and Seahawks are a DV Sport team, and my buddy services them every day, all through the mini camp. He was just there, and there's a reason he is kind of down on him because of what the head coach has done since taking over. So Mike McDonald's come in and basically eradicated anything that Pete Carroll did and wiped the building clean. Even the Super Bowl championship trophies that were in the hallway that I've been to several times with Pete, they're gone. The Legion of Boom, gone. He took all the pictures down. Yeah. I get wanting to put in your own stamp on certain things to start over. I get that, but the history's the history, dog. They're a Super Bowl winning franchise because of Pete Carroll, and they went to another one. Should have won 2, and he basically had a top 5 defense of all time, possibly in that organization. What are you hearing?
I agree with you, and you got to look at it from this perspective. Think about the characters that Pete Carroll had to handle in those 10 years. If you look back at it, I mean, he has Sherman, Brandon Browner. If you know anything about his off the field and shit,
I coach Brandon.
Yeah, Brandon Brown. I mean, you think about Frank Clark. Pete Carroll brought in those type of guys that he felt that he could change and develop and keep them off doing things off the field that would get them in trouble. The problem I see with McDonald is when he's gutting the VMAC. The VMAC is beautiful. It's out on the water in Renton. It's beautiful. But he's gutting all the history from it. And he's young. Isn't he 34 years old, I believe? And so you got to think about the people on that team like DK Metcalf. Will he be able to handle the egos and that type of, all those personalities and stuff? Him being 34 years old, and you look at him. I don't know his background. I don't know if he played or not. But Patrick Queen, is obviously high on him, as you've said. But you look at it, will he be able to handle that as a head coach? What do you think?
No, I think he's fell in waiting to happen. I hate the first year head coach hires. I don't care. I'm going to stand on that fence. Smitty, Matt, everybody, they got to get a chance. I don't agree with it. I don't like J.J. Redick taking over the Lakers. I just don't. That's just me because I had to earn it. All the coaches I know that are head coaches had to earn the right and put down some blood, sweat, and tears. He did as a coordinator. I get it. He's been a coordinator. I would have liked. So the next step in the order is to become a head coach.
Right.
But again, this is a judgmental time because this is his first head coaching job. So I'm not saying don't give it to him. I'm saying let's see what you do, but approach it a little different. I don't like the approach that he has. It seems very, very arrogant, cocky, and a slap in the face to Pete Carroll, who basically rebuilt that organization. I don't like that aspect of it.
100%.
Now, roster-wise, tell me about this team and where you have them ranked before you get out of here.
So I feel as though, they brought in Murphy, defensive tackle. I think that's great. They've struggled with stopping inside run specifically. It's been an ongoing issue, but especially the last 2 years, it's glaring. One thing about this draft, I felt as though they didn't really address the offensive line. I feel as though Seattle last year lost 3 different games clearly because the offensive line at tackles. Abe Lucas, he's a Washington State product. He played with the kid that I played with high school, Cade Beresford, who's now worked his way up in Saints rookie minicamp. But, they didn't really address the offensive line in the way that I expected them to. And so I worry that going into this season, we might see the same problems we did last year to where, and if you watch the Bengals game last year with Seattle, it came down to crunch time and Geno Smith got sacked 3 straight times and they could have won the game. And so that goes to show, the power of having a good offensive line. And so we'll see as this season goes on and, coming up, whether the offensive line, is improved at all or not, or they will have the same issues they did last year.
Yeah. So what if you had to put them in order? Where would you put them?
Put them in order how? In NFC West?
Yeah, 1 through 4.
I say 3. I think this year is kind of the Rams, final hoorah with Stafford, right? But I think they're in the prime position to overtake the 49ers. I think the 49ers, having lost twice to the Chiefs, I think it's ultimately going to be the downfall. I don't see how they improve after that with Brock Purdy at quarterback. And that's ultimately the glaring thing that people keep bringing up, and I kind of agree with them. So we'll see with that. But I got Rams, 49ers, Seattle. The thing with Seattle, if you look at their schedule here, Coach, do you see more than 6 or 7 wins on this?
No.
I agree with you. I struggle to see more than 7 wins.
Yeah, rookie head coach. We're going to see if it's Geno's. I hope it's still Geno. I'm not as big on Sam Howell as Shaun King is, but I do see what he says about Sam Howell. I'm not as big on him, but I think it's Geno's team. I still think Geno's a top 10 ball spinner in the league. I think he's one of the most accurate passers in the league. But they still have weapons. They still have wideouts. They got 3 legit wideouts. I think they got better at tight end. They still have a really good running back I like a lot. If they got better O-line wise, then, I think they got an opportunity to be better than we think. But at the end of the day, if their defense has not improved, and I know he's a defensive guy, but so is Pete Carroll, it still comes down to personnel.
No,
I don't know if their personnel is good enough to win. But I do have them above the Cardinals still.
Yeah. See, if we look at Arizona's schedule here,
I think it's the Rams and the Niners to battle it out. And I'm taking the Rams this year because not only am I a Rams homer, but I really don't care about that. That's all really a joke. I really don't even give a shit. I have players at all these teams. I really stopped rooting for a particular team in the NFL when I have players on all of the teams. So I really don't give a shit. And to be honest, but I grew up a LA Ram fan. When they left St. Louis, I lost all love for the Rams. They came back home, and they're still trying to get the fans back. They won the Super Bowl, and nobody showed up, Bailey. Nobody even showed up. So the LA fans do not care about this team either. In the big picture of things, they're a Laker-Dodger town.
Yeah, true.
But I think they're primed to if they can replace half of what Donald gave them out front. They can run the football. They have one of the best QBs in the football, in my opinion.
They drafted in the second round. D tackle, I think, is a good kid. He runs pretty quick, but I don't know if he's big enough. But Aaron Donald was undersized, and he had success getting leverage under people. So we'll see.
Yeah, can Cooper Kupp play to anything what he was 2 years ago? If not, and we saw what he did last year, I think they're going to hurt because Nakua now is the hat's out the bag. So now you're going to get doubles from him. If Cooper Kupp is just what he was last year, you're going to get double on Nakua now because Nakua is now the number 1, and you really are back down. You're down to a guy that's just fuck him. He's just a second string wideout at this point because he's so injury prone. So I don't know. We're going to see. But them and the Niners, and I'm not again. Niners have been there over and over and over, and I just. They're going to lose some games they're not supposed to. They're going to win some games they're not supposed to. But I think at the end of the day, Purdy is the guy that's going to be the difference maker. That's it, period. That roster's still there. But they did lose a few things on defense, I thought. But we'll see. We'll see. But I think it's them and the Rams and Seattle in third. Probably not a playoff team by any means.
Fortunately. And I grew up in Seattle. I'm kind of like you at this point. I'm a Seahawks fan. I'm young, only 21. But at this point, when they got rid of Pete, I looked at it and I was like, man, this is going in a direction where I wasn't really a fan before, but it's at this point, I just watch, you know what I'm saying? But and ignore the Prime shirt. This is for all. I make videos and people seem to come at me and my boy Dana about Dion, and I'll say this: he's got to win first to be in the conversation with Saban. So that's
how much was that shirt? How much was that shirt? How much was that shirt?
$20 at Ross. Y'all can go get one. Go to Ross. I bet you can find one.
Hey, $20 at Ross. That's Prime University.
Yeah,
that's Prime University. Why does his shirt sell more than the University of Colorado shirts? Make that make sense. We're gonna dive into that.
Exactly.
All right, Bailey, where's your show? What's it called? And tell everybody.
All right, so everyone, Bailey Price Media. We do NFL film breakdowns, college football news, film breakdowns, everything, hot takes. You know, I've had guests. I had my high school teammate Drew Lozano on. He's Native American, so the Commanders are rumored to, they still might bring back the Redskins logo and name. And he had a very insightful take as to why they should bring back the Redskins name. He's a big proponent of that. So go ahead. I'll drop the link over. Go ahead and subscribe to Bailey Price Media, and I appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much.
All right, Bailey. Good job, man. Appreciate you.
Take care.
All right, Bailey, man, great kid. Does a hell of a job for us. Clap it up for him. Pound the like, man. Drop some super chat for Bailey, man, so he can get his show going. I want to dive into something. Jeff's going to come on in a minute. I'm going to dive into this conversation on the phone that many of you may not have heard.
Hello?
Who's this?
Who's this?
This is Chicago Bears, man. How you doing?
I'm good.
They told me to hold it for 5 minutes. I told everyone I've been holding it for a month.
5 months. I've been home for 5 months.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna pass you over to Coach.
Jeff, what up? I want you to hear this and see this shit.
Coach and Kevin Warren, and we'll put the pick in 5 minutes, or not in 5 minutes, but at the 5 minute mark.
Sweet.
All right.
My guy.
What up?
Hey, this day's going to go down as an iconic day in Bears history, my friend. I'm super excited for you that you realize you dreamed of being the first pick in the NFL draft. That's so cool.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I'm more excited about our football team starting this process and achieving our next goal. And looking forward to our journey together. And I love you, and God bless you. And here's Kevin Warren wants to speak to you too, okay?
Yep, sounds good.
I'll see you tomorrow, brother.
See you tomorrow.
Okay.
Hey, Caleb, congratulations, man, to you and your family. Soak it in. This is going to be special. These fans are going to love you, and you're going to love them, and we're going to win a lot of championships together. So you can mark this next one off your list that you had. The next one we got to do is win a championship. So enjoy your family, man. God bless you, and safe travels.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you all,
Okay.
all of y'all.
Jeff, welcome in. Appreciate you jumping on today.
Thank you.
I got you for an hour today. I appreciate it. Shaun couldn't make it on earlier. He's going to come on tomorrow, but we're going to break down the quarterbacks in each division all week long. I want to dive into the NFC schedule with you and break down some things. But I got to ask you, what do you take from hearing him and having those conversations? And you're not a former player or coach, just you outside looking in. What is the takeaway? Because you like him. You think he's going to do better than people think.
I thought what he just played was very wholesome. Seemed like a nice kid to me. I thought that was a wholesome minute or so. I don't see the issue. I think the problem that we have now is everyone has an opinion. I don't know how you could have an issue with what we just played there. It seems like everybody was fine. I think he's the number one pick. He knew it was the number one pick. He was the number one pick. Everybody knew that. I had no issue with it. I thought he seemed like a nice guy personally. I think he's one of these people that takes a lot of the negativity and just turns it inward and tries to have success with it. And I think he'll be fine. So
now I'll be the guy that gets hated on and talk shit about it and all that. But if I'm the coach and the GM, obviously they've already had conversations with the kid. Obviously they didn't just sign him and never talk to him before on the phone before that conversation. But for us to get to hear that conversation first as a coach and a player looking outside in or inside looking out, there's a lot of things that come, and I could be nitpicking and all that, and it's fine. The play on the field is going to be the determining factor at the end of this year on what we have, our presumptions, our assumptions, and what our preclusions have been at the end of this year. What happens to this kid? I didn't hear him say coach or anything in that manner. Like, I never heard him address anybody as a coach. This is a 22, 23-year-old kid, first pick overall. This is not his fault, in my opinion. This is the generation. This is what we see every day now. I saw it last night in the NBA in 2 different games by 2 different star players. We'll dive into that. But the voice, when I first met that kid, I would say screamed something at me that I didn't like. As a leader, I want to hear a dude like, where's your bass in your voice, motherfucker? But that's here, there, or there. We're going to hear about it. We're going to see if it.
I think you have to remember, though, and this is the difference between him and all the other people that were picked. I mean, for the last several months, they had spoken to each other a bunch. I think they all knew. I'm sure they've had these conversations. They had to play it up. We have to do this conversation because it's, the draft and it's what we do. But I'm sure they've talked a bunch, a ton. They knew they were being recorded. I think it's kind of, an awkward conversation to have. They probably all have had that conversation before.
I agree. I look at the kid though in person, and I've seen him, and I've seen how the team went into a bowl game this year with a backup, and this backup goes in and breaks the school record in the bowl for touchdowns thrown and yards, and I saw how they played with Caleb. I saw how they played for this other kid. And it was glaring to me as a coach and as a former player. It's glaring to me that the buy-in that you get from your players and roster, that for me, listen, I was a undrafted free agent the day after the draft. I got a shot at the practice squad on certain teams. I played in Europe, played arena football. I never was the most talented guy. Arms talent, yeah, I had a big arm and I was accurate and I threw a great ball. The bottom line is my players played for me though. They knew I was a real one. They knew I demanded greatness from them, and then they knew when I called them out, I also took care of them off the field, and I fed my guys every week, and I did as a player, and I did these things. I don't know if he's had buy-in at Oklahoma. I don't know if he's had buy-in from his roster at SC. I know he didn't at SC, and I don't see the eye of the tiger, Jeff. When I'm the quarterback and I'm the guy that's looking at you through your eyes as an evaluator, talent evaluator and personnel guy is who I am. I look at him and I don't see it. I don't see the eye of the tiger. And that is what the glaring take I have is. I don't see that. I see nonchalant. I'm too cool to fool. I'm sweet. I can't be beat. But you really haven't done anything. You won a Heisman, individual accolade, okay? But you haven't done shit as a team player and a leader of men. You haven't done a fucking thing. And that's what people do not. It's like Lamar Jackson, dog. I want to dive into this with you because I have a breakdown on this Tua thing I want to get with you on. Lamar Jackson's 2-time MVP. Individual accolades are great and all, but 2-time MVP doesn't mean you were an all-time great at your position. It means you were a great talent that never could get over the hump as far as a leader of men and win a meaningful football game. This guy is the same way. Talent, but you haven't led anyone to anything.
But hold on. And this is where you and I kind of get off the boat, right? And some of your commenters have said it as well. Someone's mentioned that USC didn't look good without him. What football did you watch?
Without him or with him?
With him. This team averaged 42 points a game. I don't know if you're aware, dude, but he doesn't play defense. Okay, his job is to go out and be the quarterback of a football team. Okay, scored 42 points a game, was the best quarterback in the country at points. I think some of you guys are like, you're reading way too far into it. Look, if he doesn't play well, he doesn't play well. He's either going to be good or he's going to be bad. But I don't understand how by that phone call you can surmise what the kid is.
No, I'm not going off that phone call. I just mean people in general.
Look, do I think he's going to lead them to a championship like that guy said? Probably not. But what's the guy supposed to say? Hey, we can't wait for you to come in and win 5 games.
By the way, every GM, head coach, and fucking and player evaluator in the NFL, they all say the same thing to the same person in the coach every day. So any guy getting drafted on their roster, the last guy, Brock Purdy, got told the same thing when he was the last pick in the draft by the 49ers. They all called him and said, hey, congratulations, bro. We're going to win a lot of games. We're going to be the best. Like, it doesn't matter what pick you are. They're all telling you the same spill.
And the funny thing is, a lot of these people who, and most of the people that watch these videos are all fucking experts on how people are. This guy's talking about body language. What are you talking about? You don't know what the hell he's thinking. Maybe he's just really good at, he's had that conversations before and he's heard it all. And how do any of you folks know anything about what he's thinking? Oh, he paints his nails. Yeah, it's odd, but who gives a shit? If he plays well, does it matter? It's not 2006 anymore. I know it sucks, but it isn't. It's 2024. People acting different now. It is what it is. If he wins, no one will care.
Trail, Cisco is the head coach at Southgate High School, so maybe you guys will play him in a passing league or something. You're fucking gay-ass 7-on-7. Anyway, go see him at Legends this weekend. Cisco's a comedian as well. I missed his last event at Saturday. I'm going to make the next one. Maybe I'll MC. I MC'd for him once. Next Wednesday at Legends. Legends is owned by Willie McGinnis now. So if you guys go down, it's a great sports bar on 2nd Street in Long Beach. I might take Jeff there when he comes down to L.A. So let me ask you something. I want to dive into something real quick. We haven't had too much real talk banter. It's all sports today. But I want to dive into, this is yesterday this is right by the new studio that we'll be at, by the way. Take a look. Yeah, good job, fucking Newsom. He's done a hell of a job. 20 billion, huh? Good fucking job, homie. Good job. Great job. Get out of the fucking street. Great job. Looks great downtown. It's less than it was, Newsom said. You can't fucking go nowhere down here without that. Fucking unbelievable, man. By the way, Jeff, I'm driving like 50 miles an hour. It's not like I'm going real slow. There's a tent everywhere, every block, every mile. Downtown LA is fucking it's bad, man. Listen, and people in the comments on Twitter yesterday were like, "Oh, get out of there." I am different than everyone else. I don't just leave and run. I'm going to dive into that right now with you. But Newsom's on record, our governor, who probably thinks he's going to be one of the presidential candidates here in the next 4 years or so, which is probably the plan. Who knows? Because as you know and I know, we saw something happen yesterday with a president that had that died in a helicopter that I want you to touch on. But this apparently $20 billion is unaccounted for in California, and it was supposed to go towards homelessness. We have the 3 most homeless cities in the world here, in the United States for sure. LA 1, San Francisco 2, and San Diego's 3, all in California, and they're the top 3 in all of America, most homeless. And where's $20 billion? I thought homeless was supposed to be less, not more. And people in the comments were blasting me saying, "Oh, I've been here," or "You need to get out of there," blah, blah, blah. And then some people are like, "Oh, it's not that bad." Let me tell you something. The person out there that said it was this way before Newsom, you have no fucking clue what you're talking about. I'm born and raised, bred an Angelino, you fucking idiot. This is the worst I've ever seen homeless in this state. I go to San Diego all the time. I go up north all the time. Oakland and Frisco are third world countries right now, as well as downtown LA. I've never seen it this bad. And you can talk about all this shit you want. This is the worst I've ever seen it. And I'm seeing other places like where Jeff is in Philly, in New York, Florida, Texas. There's homeless. Austin, Texas, Jeff, is fucking homeless as bad as fuck. It's like San Francisco.
Well, here's the thing. Listen, I'm not a Newsom guy. I'm not going to try to sell you on Newsom. But where's Karen Bass? Karen Bass is the mayor of Los Angeles. And generally, when you clean up an area that has homeless, it's the mayor that pushes that out. And Karen Bass has been silent. The truth is, Skid Row has had homeless since the 30s. Okay, there have been people down there for decades.
Skid Row for a reason, yes.
Right. As you alluded to, though, this is not just a big city problem. All right, I live in a community suburb, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, right? And we have a certain area where there are homeless. My whole thing is, and I used to talk about this with my father all the time. What do you do? I mean, how do you curb this? This is not a problem that's only been a problem in the last 10 years. Homelessness has been a problem for decades. I don't understand what you do about it. Unfortunately, it's a generational problem, and you need to curb some of the things we do for military people or for drug addicts or for, people that are mentally ill. What do you do, right? And I think that's the real question. I don't think it's a Gavin Newsom problem. I think it's a United States problem. But you look around the world, Coach, homelessness is a problem everywhere you go, and I don't know how you fix it. It's never been able to be fixed.
I think
how I would fix it, but
it's a governmental issue. I believe Newsom's a puppet in the show, just like Biden is, just like all our sitting presidents have been for as long as
Coach, let me just say one other thing. One thing we forget about in our population is there's about 10 to 15% of people that are completely non-important as far as the human or United States way of life. We have 10% of our population we don't need. They don't commit to the tax base. They do nothing of worth. And that's just the truth. And we have nowhere to put them, right? They're just people that exist, and they often don't live on the grid that we live on, and they just go from day to day and find ways to survive. Until we initiate them, because we as a society, unfortunately, have to decide a way to put them into society. Until we do that, you're not going to fix this. We have to do so. We're the United States, and we're supposed to take care of people. And there's only so much you can do. What do you do?
You know what? I learned a long time ago as a young coach and as a player, I could not tell my offensive line to protect me if I was a bitch and I wouldn't take a hit for them and deliver. It goes hand in hand. You have to be able to look at yourself first and say, hey, I need to change something in myself before I can demand it from others. This is what the problem is. We have a bunch of fucks out here who will not look at themselves and then demand that we change. And when we're the problem, like, to be honest, the person talking is the problem, not the followers that you're asking them to help. They're the ones that will do it, but you're the bitch. You're the one that just lies through their teeth, and it's usually a bureaucratic or a politician or whatever. And this is the problem I have. But we have such a fucking horrible issue going on, and I see it because the studio that we're in is so bad in the area. We're at downtown LA, and it's right there. And I'm glad I'm actually there because people will have me run from it. Most people will say, it's like they want me to go to Florida, Texas, Jeff. Oh, come get out. If I get out, well, who's going to help? Who's going to fix the state I'm from? I am a proud person from this state. It's the most gorgeous state in the union. It's been one of the best states ever as far as weather, food, broads, you name it, money. But it's a shithole now. Guess what? There's a lot of shitholes. There's a lot worse places. But the bottom line is if I run and everyone else runs, then you're not fixing nothing.
It starts, as I said, this is not a president. This isn't a president problem. Because I hate to tell you, if Donald Trump becomes president, it's not going to change much at Skid Row. This is a very local politician issue. Councilmen, people that are in these districts, right? Look, you look at Philadelphia. We've all heard of Kensington, right? The mayor of Philadelphia, Cheryl Parker, who was recently introduced, has pushed, and she's went down there and cleaned it up. And for a few years, it'll be better. And then the next administration will come in and it might get worse. You can't tolerate it. But again, with tolerating it, what does that mean exactly? Are you just going to put these people in jail? I mean, if you tell them to move, they'll just go somewhere else and be homeless somewhere else. You have to address the problem, okay? It's not just
this shouldn't be happening. That shouldn't be happening.
That's something that person should be arrested. Okay?
But if it's homeless, this is what I saw yesterday. A guy just shitting on the wall. That shouldn't be happening, and we are allowing it.
And also look at the top of the government in this country. Have you seen? And it's both sides. It's these idiots, and look at them arguing like we do on here. These are the people that run this country. Look at what it's turned into.
Oh, you saw the sister and the white girl arguing about eyelashes and shit. This is our country's leaders, bro, who making decisions. And guess what? Those decisions are sending them billions of dollars to Ukraine and all these other places when our place ain't right. And that's my whole point going back, Jeff, that I didn't touch on, that I had a brain fart. That's my point I wanted to make. If I'm not right myself, and I'm asking others to do right. Isn't that what I'm talking about here? Like, aren't we looking at this and saying, hold on, I'm going to ask us to do something that I won't do myself? To me, it's hypocritical.
But we've heard about this pushing money to other countries. We've been doing that forever, though. That's not a random last 10-year thing.
Well, my thing is, though, we're at all-time bad, though.
I agree.
And if we don't take care of ourselves first,
Sure.
how are we going to be better?
My question, and this is not our problem to handle, but my thought to you is, what do you do about homelessness? This has been an issue for generations. What do you do about it? And no one has been able to come up with a proper. I tell you what I would do, but like again, these people don't do nothing about it, and it comes down to Karen Bass needs to address homelessness. That's just the truth. She needs to get with the chief of police in LA, and they need to come up with a plan on how we're going to fix this. My thought for her is she doesn't know. What do you do?
She's a woke broad she's not going to jump out there and start saying shit without Governor Newsom's approval, though. See, that's
but her thought is as well, if we push all of these people to one area, they won't be anywhere else.
Let me ask you something. In Oakland, right, the Chinese president visits here just 6 months ago. And Oakland was an absolute shithole. And it looked like Beverly Hills overnight. Like, and nobody knows where all those homeless people are. Still, to this day.
They can fix it. They just don't because it's not a priority.
That's my point. Like, we can fix it, and it takes them. We're not going to be able to do it because they won't never listen to us, and we don't have the voice or the platform or the money. They can, though, real fucking quick. They sure did when China showed up. It's like, oh, you just fixed Oakland in a night, and then the next day it's back to shithole. Wait, how the fuck did that happen?
Well, and that's the thing that we often wonder. Look, they can fix this. Most of the things that are problematic in this government, it can be fixed quickly. They just don't because it's not a priority.
But if you want to defund the police and if you want to do all this stuff,
that's ridiculous.
If you want to do all this stupid shit, though, then guess what you're going to get? What do they say? Play dumb games, get dumb prizes? Well, you're doing it and you're seeing it. And I don't know. You can talk about voting and all that shit, but you know, I'm not a believer. I don't believe. I know we talk conspiracy and shit and the lack of proof that conspiracies really exist. The truth of the matter is, though, I don't know if voting really helps either. We don't know that. We'll never know it. We've heard of voter fraud since I was a little kid.
Listen, Coach, as I've said before, okay, if you are truly tired of what's going on, it doesn't really matter where the country's the problem. Okay, the everything about we just have a different way of life here now. It's just the truth, and you can find pockets of this country that are all right. But I think if you truly want to experience life and culture for what it is, you got to go somewhere else. That's just the truth. You're not giving up on nothing. You can still have citizenship. Go somewhere else.
I still don't know if that's. I still think as bad as it is, it's still the best country in the world. Because
no, absolutely. You know what I mean? I'm just saying from the standpoint
look at Italy right now. Have you seen Italy or Ireland? I mean, they've fucking been riddled by foreign bodies that are coming in there and absolutely die. I mean, these guys got machetes out there going after a woman the other day I saw in Ireland, and I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? This is not just here. I think this is a global plan by whoever, whatever, that we'll never understand. We won't know the truth for 20 years about what happened with COVID. We won't know for 20 years what happened with the Iranian president yesterday. We won't know what happened with fucking Kobe Bryant. These are all conspiracies that you can talk about all day long. The truth of the matter
remember, too, and a lot of people are talking about, oh, Trump. Let's say Trump wins. That's just a Band-Aid. Trump is a 4-year president. That's it. And eventually, what's your plan next? Then what? Where do we go from there? Because I tell you what, the problems that we have here, homelessness, all this shit, it ain't going to stop because Trump becomes the president.
No, that's what I tell people all the time. It doesn't stop for whoever is the fucking president. It doesn't make two shits, in my opinion. We're in debt for our life. We're not going to see us get out of debt in this country. Sorry. You know why we go to war in this country? To get money. This is what it does. When we and to be honest, if you look at the history of the United States Armed Forces, and if you look at the history of when we've gone to war, it's every third generation. Just look at it. My dad told me this when I was a little kid. Every third generation, we have a war. Our third generation kids end up being the ones that go to war. And this is a history lesson. Go look it up. Every third generation, we're at war for some reason. And it's usually because we've hit rock bottom financially and we need to make money. We can make money and print money, Jeff, when we know if we print money and throw it out in our economy, it'll actually turn it upside down and be worse because you can't account for it. But we print money and send to Ukraine, though. That's how fucking crazy this is.
Since World War II, we've been at war since then until now. Every year there's been some conflict going on that we're involved in.
Those are battles or conflicts, yeah. But a world war, though. Just think about it. Every 3 generations.
I said this earlier about those 2 idiot politician women arguing. You know what was the most embarrassing thing about that clip? I'm going to tell you. The fucking guy that runs the conversation, what did he say? I can't hear you.
Oh, I know.
Because you're too fucking old.
No doubt.
Like, what do we do? We have people that are too old. They can't hear anything. But mind you,
we got guys standing up McConnell up there like
can't even walk. You know, it's crazy.
Hey Jeff, how's it going, Jeff?
Where am I? Yeah, they don't even know where they are.
Mr. McConnell, what happened? What? Like these are
the people.
A country, homie.
These are the people, right? And then you got these yahoos like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Alexander Ocasio-Cortez on the other side arguing with. I mean, it's a fucking.
By the way, this is why I know it's puppets, and this is why I know it's all a sham and a joke. And this is a conspiracy. We can call it a conspiracy if we want. This was something I'll stand on the hill alone with. That the sister in the argument that went ghetto on everybody, and I'm not even tripping on that fact. I posted a thing said we are a shit show. That's all I posted. It doesn't have to do with the fucking black girl acting ghetto, and it doesn't have to do with the fucking wobble body white girl who's always into something talking shit about someone else. It has nothing to do with either one.
She just talk shit. Yep.
It has to do with the bottom line. We are a shit show. And I'm looking at this whole thing, and I'm sitting there like, that black girl, by the way, is a plant. She went to County Day in St. Louis. I used to recruit there. It's the Beverly Hills of St. Louis. She is a fucking whitewashed as it gets. If you ever listen to her on any other interview, by the way, go look at her on any other interview. She's sitting there, legs crossed, acting as fucking pleasant as anybody and talking as affluent as anybody else. And that is why she got into politics. She played the game, and then she comes out and acts ghetto, and everyone wants to take that for what it's worth. No, dog, she's a plant. She's fake as shit. So are all these motherfuckers. And there is things called code switching in the hood and all those old things. Guess what? This is what we do. And when you get people of hierarchy at the positions they hold, they'll vote on paying Ukraine $1 billion, but they won't fucking vote on helping out our own people. How about our veterans, who mostly are homeless, by the way, in this country, who fought for this country's freedom, are homeless, walking our streets in every city in the state, in every country.
Let me ask you something. As far as age is concerned, do you know how old the people that found this country, like the founding fathers, do you know how old they were?
When they found it?
Correct.
You mean when we became an independent union in
so
1776?
Yeah. Do you know?
Because I was born in 1976, so I'm the bicentennial and all that. Yeah.
200 years, yeah. Those individuals that did that were super young. Like,
back then they were 20s.
Yeah, like 20s, 30s. Like, again, we have people that are like 90. Like sitting in their, like, why don't we have young? Look at the rest of the world, right? Countries that are thriving, right?
Ukrainian guy, the porn star, whatever his name is.
But even look at like a place not that far from here, El Salvador, right? They have completely changed their way of life. No more crime. It's one of the safest countries in the Western Hemisphere. They have a young leader, young upbeat leader that can actually make change. Look at what he's done. He's changed life considerably in the most dangerous country in the Western Hemisphere. What are we doing here?
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. This is a fact, by the way, because it's actually public knowledge. You can go look it up. When Biden took presidency, he had a net worth of, I believe, $10 million. And all that, you know damn well that $10 million came from politics. Do you know his net worth right now? Just take a look without looking it up.
It's probably considerably more.
$150 million. How is this guy worth $10 million for? And by the way, I'll say $10 million was probably all through campaigns, through being a bureaucratic fucking racist liar, cheat. Look at what he said before. Go look at the 80s and 90s, and you'll see Biden in the comments that he's made. He's worth $150 million now in 4 years.
Well,
and guess what? I don't know if you know this, public. but the president makes around 280 grand a year. So he has a hell of a fucking investment team. I'll tell you that much, because that motherfucker went making $280 million or 280 grand a year to worth $150 million. Guess what? Obama did the same jump.
They're all the same.
Obama had the same jump in pay. Now, how is this really a thing? Like, I'm curious on, but we don't talk about it. We won't talk about it. We're silenced. We don't want to bring it up. We don't want to talk about it. Presidents make money, and there has to be a bigger puppet master in control of this and why they are making this money.
Here's what I'll tell you, and I'm in the middle. I don't have any interest in either side of government. That said, it would completely blow me away if Joe Biden wins. I just don't see it. I don't know how the numbers would even work. I mean, again, Joe Biden didn't win the election in 2020 by a considerable margin.
Well, he probably cheated anyway now that they're finding all these votes come up.
I think the only way Trump doesn't win is if they do something along the lines of, screw it.
Cheat with the illegals that are coming in voting right now. Let me ask you,
in a normal election, I just don't think there's any way.
Let me ask you this. It's not a normal election. That's the problem. Our government's so manipulative. Let me ask you something. My brother's in the Air Force. He's been in there. He's been in Desert Storm 9. He's been in Desert Storm. He's been in 9/11. He's been in some things in Turkey. He's been in a lot of these conflicts we've had. He's retired now in the pharmaceutical world. He's still in the Air Force, but he mentioned something to me that I can at least say. He said, he goes, I'm hearing rumors on the base here, and I won't tell you where he's at, but he's like, the Dems, the puppet masters of the Dems, want or may actually pull the plug and exile Biden and get him out of the running before it gets tight. Because this is a very interesting.
I've said that for
very, very interesting point here. I have to ask, and I brought this up on this show a while back. Where are the campaign ads, Jeff? We are 6 months from a presidency.
I've said it for a while. I don't believe he's going. I think they're going to insert someone else.
But where are the commercials? Where are the commercials that we always have seen in my lifetime pushing the presidency? Where are the debates? Where are the I'm in a city near you pushing my campaign? Haven't seen it for the first time in my life, bro. No one's brought it up. I haven't seen a campaign ad yet on a commercial. I haven't seen a campaign in my city near me other than Trump, who's not the sitting president, and we don't even know if he'll be convicted in jail or not. And we're looking at him in New Jersey with 100,000 people just for shits and giggles. He's out here doing his thing, but I haven't seen a campaign ad. I haven't seen a fucking 30-second ad read. I haven't seen a goddamn, where's RFK? I haven't seen his push. I haven't seen Obama's push. Michelle Obama supposedly running, right?
If I'm the Democratic Party, I would insert Michelle Obama, but then, quickly. I think she could win. I could see that. Absolutely.
I think that they're going to
Biden, not going to happen.
I honestly think, and this is rumors coming out of here and my brother in the Air Force, that they're going to try to get Newsom in there. I think he's the next guy because look at what he does. Look how he moves. Look how he speaks. Look how they talk. He literally seems like the guy. He's younger, right? He's a handsome guy, strapping, looks like. He could be the guy that they say, oh, this is the younger guy we go with. This is the Ukrainian age guy we go with, the 40-year-old, the 50-year-old that's younger. And listen, I'm right-leaning and all that with my beliefs. I still have some things that I believe that aren't right-leaning, and I'm an independent thinker, and I always will be. I'll die that way. I look at this thing though, and I'm like, dog, this is a mockery. This is a joke. Like we really think one of these people are going to change it. Here's my thought though, and Pat Perez is a Trump guy. He's close with Trump. John Daly, close with Trump. These are guys I talk to all the time. We're all in agreement of this one thing: 380 million people in America, and two guys you find are 80-year-old cadavers. We can't find a younger person to run in this country that is worthy of at least thinking, speaking, and being rational on a podium.
Well, I'm really interested in seeing where over the next 8 years this country goes, because these Biden will be out, Trump will be out, and it's a new day, let's say, and you're gonna see the Newsoms pushed. But I think you're really going to start seeing the big, rich people, the Mark Cubans, guys like that, that I think he's definitely at some point going to run for president. I mean, he's worth $6 billion. He's freed up a lot more of his time. He's the guy that I think will run at some point. Guys like that. That should be interesting to see where we go next, because getting these guys out of the way, these old, decrepit guys, DeSantis, he'll be obviously there.
Yeah, I'm going to put you on my campaign ad, right, Jeff? I'll have you as the head of security.
Thank you.
On this.
By the way, there's a guy in the chat. Now keep in mind, Smitty's not been here for 4 days. This guy still doesn't know where. Can someone please tell me where Smitty is?
It's delusion, dog. These guys are.
Some of these people watch the show.
Yeah, it's delusion. They jump in, they hear Jeff Nadu's coming on, and then they fucking jump into this thing. There's some rumors out there that I put you as the head dietitian. You fat wobble body fuck. You're gonna be the dietitian. Tell us how to get titties the size of fucking Chips Ahoy cookies, nipples the size of fucking chocolate chip cookies. This guy right here, they're saying that this is the Illuminati now. This is part of the Illuminati. I want to dive into P. Diddy with you since I have you on. P. Diddy issued a video, and Bailey, can we show the video of P. Diddy's so-called apology? Before we even show it, while Bailey gets it, I got to ask you something. This has to be one of the worst PR stunts I've ever seen by a team that is worth $1 billion, in essence. For whoever his support staff is in marketing and PR people, for him to put this video out, you would have to be blind and dumb to believe that this is a real video, that he's not reading a teleprompter in front of his face on a laptop that says the things that he says. And he's just saying, hey, you got to be a hell of an actor on this one, dog. I always tell people I don't apologize for one reason, because I am who I am, not what I say I am. I do what I do, not what I say I do. People say and apologize every time they do multiple issues. This guy has multiple issues out there, and it's ironic that he comes out now when the video aired. You should have apologized years ago publicly if everyone and their mama knew what happened to her and whatever. I heard that he paid somebody off at that hotel $50,000 for that video to go away. Somebody actually wanted more money, so obviously had that video. He fucked up, released it, and now he knows he got caught red-handed, so he makes this bullshit apology. For anyone that hasn't listened, just take a listen.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you got to do that. I was fucked up. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
It's not enough, though. It's a joke.
Oh,
it's a slap in the face, really, Jeff, to not only you and I and the public, the people that have seen and helped this guy become what he is, buying his records, buying his everything that he's done. And now, you're a shitbird. We already knew it. I knew it years ago. I have inside information. I was actually at UCLA the day he walked into the weight room and threw a dumbbell at the strength conditioning coach when his son wasn't playing. And his son was at UCLA and enrolled, and he was shitty. And he went up there, and Inesi, who was a former Jet strength conditioning coach, been in the NFL a long time, UCLA had hired him. And he went up there. My buddy Meat was the DB coach, and I was up there fucking with him. Later, I hired his brother to be my DC at Independence on Netflix. And he came in there, and he had security with him, bodyguards, and he threw a dumbbell at the strength conditioning coach. And Sal, I've known Sal a long time, who was a strength conditioning coach. And I knew right then this motherfucker is fucked up, and he's different, and this motherfucker belongs to a higher power out there that belongs something we'll never know. Well, now we do know. It's coming out right now. This happened years ago.
He's a rat. I've said that forever. He's a CI for the feds.
That's why his house got ransacked the way it did.
No. When will people understand? You're not going to have all this shit happen to you. They never take you into custody. Nothing.
Not get arrested. Not even be arrested. They walked by him on the tarmac, Jeff, and arrested the white boy from Syracuse over him.
And again, this is when you are a high-level criminal like him. This is what the CIA does. He's a rat. He will never go to jail for nothing. He's a CI.
Same with Epstein, bro. Same with.
And he'll just disappear, and they'll put him in some of the. He'll be gone. He's a
You
rat.
don't think Russell Simmons is a rat? I've heard this from major players in this business at the big three that he is definitely a rat. There's a reason he's in Bali and never came back. Why hasn't he came back? Why isn't he in America where he's made his billions of dollars on Fat Farm and Def Jam? Where is he now? Why wouldn't he be out? Wouldn't you want to secure your money and be around in LA and Cali or in a country of your born residence, Jeff? Why would you spend the rest of your life in fucking a non-extradition country like Bali where and you're innocent? What?
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, listen. His father was his father was a big time gangster back in the day.
Yeah.
Father was killed by gangsters.
These guys were all on Epstein Island. I don't give a fuck what they say. And guess what? Don't think you're looking past the Obamas of the world and the Clintons and all these people that have been on record at P. Diddy parties and on Epstein manifests on flights and on islands. And there's a reason why. Remember just 3-4 months ago, Jeff, the Epstein list was coming out and it was a huge thing and it's dropping for sure. Where'd it go? It was supposed to be out 3 months ago. Why does it keep getting pushed? Why is Oprah Winfrey the only house on Maui that had a blue roof and didn't get burned? Why is it's a fucking conspiracy, but it's weird.
And also remember,
it's weird.
Ghislaine Maxwell's still out there, right? She's the only person that, and right now she has to be in prison. She's been told that. You know where she is right now? She's in some fucking summer camp somewhere. And I've talked about that on my TikTok. She lives in luxury in prison. She's not in some tough prison, she's in luxury. And they're trying to keep her quiet. Everybody shut up. Everything's good.
Look, man, I was raised by one of the biggest dope dealers in United States history, the real Freeway Rick. And this guy, everyone in America thought he was in jail for life. Everybody thought he was in prison. He never did a fucking day. But see, a lot of you guys think that these people who have dirt on the real people like Noriega, who brought drug money into America. I've seen checks, Jeff, being raised by these folks when I was 11 years old, signed by President Bush, Jeff. Now, why is President Bush signing a check to a hood dope runner in LA to give to Noriega in Colombia? Now, make it make sense. You can say what you want, but dope money is what this country was founded on and built on. Don't get it twisted. And those are facts. That's not bullshit. These are facts. And then you compile that with everything we've stole from everybody else, and you get a power. You get a major power in the United States, which we used to be. So, I'm trying to figure out, man, people don't really look at it Noriega, the real Noriega, not the fucking rapper, Joe. Panama. I just, it's crazy, man. It's really crazy. Shut up, bitch boy.
You were talking earlier about the president of Iran dying.
Go break that down for us because I don't know too much about it.
The problem is, though, the supreme leader of Iran is Ayatollah, and he is still alive. He's 85, Khomeini.
It's a power play. It's going to be who takes over that role, and then
the role has always been Ayatollah. He's always going to have the supreme judgment over everybody.
But here's the thing: the power play is this, and I talked to my brother last night in depth about it. The power play is this: for Israel and Iran, or whoever we're siding with at the time, is going to be a benefit from a guy like this dying, has to have the backing of the sitting United States president. And without that backing from this side, the West, you still have nothing. There's not going to be a revolution in Iran, people. There's not going to be a revolution. You need Americans backing to have a revolution. See, I'm not that deep and smart and all that, but you can say what you want. I know enough about enough, and that's what it is.
That revolution stuff's long gone. That ain't gonna ever happen.
That ain't happening. That ain't.
Hey, Coach, look at this one guy, DMV Living. The whole city of Florida was built by the godmother and others. The whole city of Florida, he said. The state. By the way, Florida didn't exist before Griselda Blanco, by the way, according to him.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. All right, let's dive into some sports real quick. Let's dive into some sports. I love talking politics in real life.
Hey, Coach, Carman says, I thought this was a sports show.
No, now we're going to talk all politics, bitch. Now what? Now we're not going to talk about fucking Shedeur Sanders being said he was going to be a top pick. No, we're not. fucking Carmen, you bitch. I don't give a fuck what you said. Get the fuck out of here, you fucking cowardly cunt. All right, so here we go. A no-name GM, Jeff, again, a conspiracy because it's a no-name, didn't put his name on it, said that this guy would have been Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams, probably went ahead of them or at the same, he would have been the at least minimum third quarterback off the board this year. I laugh. I had Carl Reed on today. Great conversation. He's 247 Sports, one of the directors. He does a hell of a job with all the NIL and college football recruiting stuff right now. He helps place a lot of kids in the portal. This is a joke. I'm just going to be honest. I'm not high on him at all. I think the quarterback position is as bad as it's been in college football, and I think this is proof of it. If this even is truth, if it's even some sort of semblance of truth, that's how bad the quarterback position is.
Well, as I said before, when will these unnamed people, unnamed sources show themselves? When they make these stupid fucking comments. I want to know who said this. Who said this?
The same guy that said that the Colts draft pick was a shit show and a shit bird.
Another unnamed source. Sources tell me. Tell us who it was. But yeah, you're right. The quarterback market stinks. What the fuck has he ever done? Shadur Sanders?
I don't know. I don't know.
But again, that's where we are. It's guys of what they may do or what they may be all about. We've seen the kind of guy this kid is. He cares way too much about idiots that mean nothing. All he does is want to respond to everything. He's just like his father. They're the same two people. And do we know he can actually play for another coach outside of his father? I'll tell you what it's going to be. His father's going to make a jump to the NFL, go to whatever team. It's all going to be set up behind the scenes. Can he actually play for anyone other than his father?
Hey, and Trell, come on, dog. This is my point, Trell. You're comparing him to Drake May, who I've already said is shitty. This is how bad it is, dog. This is how bad the quarterback position is. When are you going to just say that, okay, JB, I understand what you're saying now? Like, that's
hey, by the way, Coach,
quarterback shit's horrible.
You know who the unknown source was? Dion.
Yeah, no shit, because he doesn't control the narratives there. Let me ask you something. I got to transition real quick before we go back to some NFL scheduling. The NBA, I know you've been killing it in the betting world. I want to ask you something. I'm on record already, but I'm doubling down. This is the worst playoffs I've ever seen in my 48 years in the NBA. A Game 7, 30-point blowout at home, losing by 30 at home, or 21, whatever.
And allowing the team to shoot almost 70% for the game.
And now we have narratives. This is why I started the show off. We have narratives by ESPN and this left woke media that they came out with a poll question today, and that's what I led with. Thibodeau was too hard on him, and he ran them to the ground. This is the narrative we push to cancel coaches in this new era, Jeff. We want Mike McDaniels with capri pants walking and storming our sidelines that are analytical guys over the guy that will hold you to the carpet and demand greatness. They don't want that anymore. They want load management to be at an all-time high, although we're paying them more than we've ever paid them, only to miss more games than we've ever seen. This is what it is. I say it all the time. You guys are so high on Ty Lue. I'm not. Because I'm going to be honest, I think he's a fucking underachiever. I'm sorry. I believe he's an underachiever. And I would say, what has he done without LeBron and Kyrie that 1 year? What has he really done? I'm going to be honest. He's had a superstar squad in Clipperland. They haven't fucking done anything. This guy who said, Adam Silver said, we're going to make load management a thing so our guys can thrive in the playoffs. Kawhi Leonard ain't played a fucking meaningful playoff game in 4 years. I want to know, and he's the most load managed guy there is. Frank Vogel allowed Bradley Beal and all these guys, Booker, to miss several games. And if we look back in the bubble and during his run with the Lakers, AD missed more games than he ever has under Frank Vogel. There's coaches that allow it, and there's coaches that coach it and demand it. Thibodeau demands it. There's a reason. I have proof. Jalen Brunson went back in the game last night after fracturing his hand, Jeff. You think he would have did that for Frank Vogel or Ty Lue? Fuck no. Thibodeau actually has the heartbeat of the locker room. That is why Hart wanted to play. That is why, if you look at the history of it and the truth of this season with the Knicks, and I don't give excuses for injuries, but let's look at it. They are the most injury-riddled team in the playoffs. They lost Mitchell, Randall, Obadiah, or whatever his name is, Anunoby. They've been riddled, dog. Let's just be honest. They're a riddled team. But to lose by that many points is a slap in the coach's face by the players to say, I didn't give you more on a home court in front of fucking Spike Lee's homer ass. To lose by 21 to the Pacers, of all people, is a real proof to me that the coach really doesn't have a lot of say anymore when the players have been enabled and entitled so badly. So right now in this era, we paying these guys so much money, Jeff, and they can afford they have no investment. They have no investment in their bodies. Look at the injuries. Look at their body styles and shapes. They're the worst looking bodies I've ever seen. And if you pay young people hundreds of millions of dollars, they're probably going to be spending time in Dubai more than they are in the weight room. That just is what it is. You can say what you want to say. But if you and I got $100 million when we were fucking 21 years old, I doubt we really would have fucking been all go hungry as we once were when we didn't make that money, as the old generation was.
Listen, but that's a human characteristic.
It is. That's my point. That's just my point. But you have to demand it.
And that's why you have to have coaches and strength coaches. And where's the ownerships of these teams? Hey, you need to do certain things. You can't blame these kids for doing what they end up doing or wanting to do other things outside of basketball that could get them into issue and into trouble. Yeah, look, I was thinking this morning, you look at the Western and Eastern Conference Finals. It's all due respect. The T-Wolves, the Dallas Mavericks.
The Pacers? Pacers who the Lakers beat in the fucking in-season tournament?
Yeah, it's like, again, it's just cool to have new teams, but it's like, and then again, look, Anthony Edwards is a star, obviously, but yeah, it's a rough league now.
Hey, Matt made up a good point. Like, he's a Denver homer, and he's like, Malone, who he loves a lot, and he's a hard ass. Malone's a hard ass. I love how he cussed out the media last night. I love it. Kendrick Perkins' soft ass came out and said it was classless. I don't really see, but really, you want me? I got 1,000 videos of you being classless, fucking Kendrick Perkins, on bashing your former players. But anyway, the hypocrisy is real. But Matt made a point. If Malone's hard ass can't get through to him last night, because look at the body, look at the language and what happened late in that game yesterday. I thought they quit on him. And if those guys are quitting on a guy like Malone, because I think they were happy and satisfied, Jeff, that they won last year. And I don't believe they have that go get them in them or that killer mentality to win 2 in a row anymore. And that's why I don't think in the NBA you'll see back-to-back winner ever again. I just don't. I said it 2 years ago. I don't think you'll see a back-to-back winner back in the NBA because of the current landscape.
But as you said, who the fuck is Kendrick Perkins to say shit like that?
Nobody. Nobody that played. It was a role player at best. Even when he was in shape in OKC, he was shitty. 3-point action. Like, I don't get it. I
will say, though, real quick, that Mavs Thunder game was great. Saturday night. That was a great game.
Yeah, I thought the Thunder would turn into a game 7.
I had +4, and it was right there. Look, they were up 17 at one point, the Thunder. Really no excuse. But look, again, and I don't know how many fucking times these fucking teams need to hear it. Stop settling for fucking jump shots. The problem is Chet Holmgren's weak ass can't bang down low with the Liveleys and the guys like that. So you're constantly settling for mid-range jumpers and threes.
Here's the reason, but this is the argument I have with Smitty all the time. This is what the league is. You took the 7-footer and you put him out on the edge and the perimeter to shoot threes like Towns and we started seeing it with Dirk, of course, but now you've seen it with 7-footers that come into the league who are perimeter players. There's no longer any nuts and guts inside. Now, that's why I like the Timberwolves approach. When you go get 2 bigs, at least you have one that's down low who's not a 3-point guy like fucking Gobert, and then you have the Towns that will go out there. But my point is the 3-point shot is what they live on now, and then it's created the softest generation we've ever seen because you can get away with it. And then if you get fouled, it's an instant replay waiting to happen. We got to watch a fucking 65 replays a game.
Let me just say other thing, and then we'll move on. I want to just touch on Mark Cuban really quick. Mark Cuban bought the Dallas Mavericks in 2000 for $285 million. He sold 73% of it for $3.5 billion. He still owns 27% of the team. Think about that. That's insane, isn't it?
Oh yeah, he's just a great businessman. I mean, he's been that way since he was at the University of Indiana, where he started the Yahoo and shit, and we blew up. You know what I mean? Like that guy.
Buying a team, man. That's
yeah. Jerry Jones did very similar thing way back. Jerry Jones bought that Cowboys team for nothing, and look what it's worth now—the most popular, most expensive team in the world.
Well, even like the Eagles owner, Lurie, he bought the team for very cheap. I look at him. Yeah. I just don't know how you can look at Mark Cuban and not like respect and like him. Like it's insane. Like
yeah. I want to dive into this. Speaking of money, Tua has reportedly turned down a first contract. He wants $50 million. I started the show, Jeff, by saying this, okay, and I want to run this by you. I named 10 quarterbacks, okay, 10, and I want to break them down to you real quick. Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Daniel Jones, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, Jared Goff, Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes. Two of those guys.
That's more than 10.
Two of those, no. Okay, well, 10 or 11. Those are the highest paid. That's my point. They're the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL, highest paid players in the NFL. Only 2 of them have Super Bowls. Mahomes has 3. Russell has 1. They have 4. Jalen Hurts and Burrow's been to 1 and lost. And then you can argue the next year they had a decline. Jalen Hurts last year. Burrow's been hurt ever since. Kyler Murray is a mental midget. In my opinion, to date, he's a bust. Josh Allen loses players rather than gains them. Tua has done nothing. And my point is this. We are overpaying all these guys. Even the guy I say I like, who I think have been in a horrible situation, Daniel Jones, no question is he overpaid. I never debated that. I would never have paid him that money. I'm on record saying that. But none of these guys, Jeff, none of these guys. Jared Goff lost the Super Bowl. And the next year you brought in another guy who won the Super Bowl on the same team. So, I'm trying to figure out how they come up with this worth. Because back in the day, Jeff, we had to earn it before we got what we earned. Now they're getting it before they earn it.
Well, and then we wonder, why do they become what they become? And we just talked about it. They get a bunch of money.
Body, sustainability.
By the way, I want to just address you for a second. There's an individual in the chat saying, where's the new studio? JB, a slacker. Motherfucker, do you realize he drives over an hour on virtually every day, moves a lot of this shit in on his own, is only one man? It's insane, some of you commenters, the just ability you think you have. You come into his show and say some shit like that when you know fuck all about what he's doing. Some of you people think they're way too comfortable. Just say whatever the fuck it is you want to say.
Bailey, I just texted you a picture. Bailey, can you put that picture in? I just texted you.
Motherfuckers.
Oh yeah, it's a joke. It's a joke. They're all jokes, man. They're nobodies. That's why I like calling them nobodies. And by the way, I found out that term. Pat Perez and I use it all the time in public too. The people that troll us. Nobody really strikes a nerve with these people. You are absolutely a fucking nobody.
And if you respond, you're a bad guy. You're
a bad guy. They can say whatever. So yesterday on Instagram, they banned me from going live for 30 days, and they deleted a comment. I never cussed in it. I didn't say anything. I responded to a guy who motherfucked me and said every word in the book on Instagram, but that person doesn't have any strike, didn't have anything happen to him. But once I responded, apparently I'm on that fucking blacklist. I had to appeal it because they almost deleted my account again. I just hit 100,000 followers on this new account. And I'm like, this is a joke, dog. And then TikTok has me banned, or has me shadow banned for like fucking crazy.
It's just the gall of some of these people. But it's easy because it's easy. You're behind a computer and say whatever you want. So of course.
The audacity, I think, is what.
But remember, he owns a construction company. He could have built a studio in 2 days.
Of course. Well, why don't you do it then, bitch? Why don't you do it then, homie? See, all you motherfuckers talk the talk but can't walk the walk. You all talk behind the computer, but why don't you do it then? Build us a studio because you're a great person. Build us a studio. You want us to thrive, right? That's why you're in here right now, right? Missile Pickle Pants? Fucking puss boy. But yeah, yesterday, Jeff, I'm so sore right now because this 500-pound TV that we write on, same thing ESPN has and everybody else, to get it out of my lounge here, we had to take it on a dolly, 2 of us, carry it to my truck, strap it in, drive it an hour and a half, take it up 6 flights of stairs, by the way, barely got it in the elevator, and then had to build a frame around it because it's so heavy to mount it on the wall in the studio, because that's going to be a game changer during the football season, to get up there and write it and break down film and do things that no one else is doing because I have the DB Sport rights. It's crazy. StreamYard's tripping. Apparently, I can't show it, but I have a picture of yesterday was us building it. So yeah, we're not doing nothing. I'm just sitting around waiting to do nothing. But let me ask you something. This Tua thing has done nothing. Hasn't beat anyone worth a shit. Where are you at with his demands?
Well, his demands are crazy. As you alluded to, he's got to continue to play well. He's got to take them into the playoffs and win some games. He's got to stop being injured a lot. He needs to, again, as you alluded to, do something where you're worth $50 million and go from there. But yeah, again, this is the demands, the crazy demands where the market's set with some of these guys. I couldn't agree more with what you said. And again, I hate to agree on all the things, but today you're hitting it out of the park. I don't agree with the conspiracy theories half the time, but as far as him, earn it.
And by the way, I'm not saying everybody in the chat's nobodies. I'm saying the fucking nobodies are nobodies. The nobodies, the guys that aren't members, the guys that troll in here, the guys that are just talking out their asshole, that do nothing for nobody, who live with their mama's basement and suck their mama's titties for milk still. Those are nobodies. Those are who I'm talking to. The real ones know that they're not nobodies. They know they're actually contributors to society, as Jeff mentioned earlier. You're a nobody. You do nothing for nobody. You've never helped anyone like I have. You've never put thousands of kids in college, 28 plus in the NFL. You've never changed people's lives. You didn't get people their degrees. You fucking nobody. That's why you're a nobody. All right, so Tua does that. It is what it is. All that's doing and all we're allowing, Jeff, is the market to continue to rise. The market is set at an all-time high, and we are giving quarterbacks. Here it is right here, by the way. This is what I've been doing. Yeah, that's an easy TV to move. 96-inch, 500-pound fucking piece of hardware. That's a computer. By the way, that's a frame for it. We have that wood right there. We had to cut by us with a saw, and we're going to frame the bottom so you don't see this frame. Then we're going to wrap that wall behind it with our logos and shit. And it's going to be the fucking eye in the sky don't lie. That's where we break down film. But yeah, I'm not doing nothing. And anyway, I really don't have to show you that. I just wanted to talk to you about what Jeff brought up. But
by the way, I'm the jerk. You wouldn't do fucking jack shit. Shut the fuck up, you fucking computer fucking tough guy. Shut your fucking mouth, you fucking goof.
Nobody. A nobody.
Jeff Jeff wouldn't be around to save Jeff from getting faded. You're upset. You're gonna fight me over the internet. You're mad because I don't agree with your take. You fucking clown. Shut up. Fucking idiot.
On schedule, Jeff. I know it's way too early. It's premature. We don't even want to talk about too much of it. I'm gonna break down the quarterbacks from each division the rest of the week with Shaun King and have you on Friday again to talk about some more stuff. But I want to be clear here. The NFC South, I believe, is for the taking. I think Atlanta's in prime position to win the South this year. I'm not a believer in Baker Mayfield. I think he had a decent season last year. He got paid for it, and now I think you'll see a decline again. I don't believe in Tampa. I thought they got older. I think they needed to hit certain assets as a roster. They did not do so. I like Atlanta in that division, in a bad division, probably the worst in football. And then the NFC North, I believe, is also up for grabs. Green Bay, Minnesota. We don't know about Minnesota. They're a team that we don't know about. I'm not sure. We know about Chicago. They're another team with a rookie QB that needed assets. And then the NFC West. I believe the Rams and the Niners are going to have a shootout for that division. I believe Seattle's third. Arizona's still, for some reason. I don't understand. When Arizona figures out that they have a salary cap issue with the NFL, I mean, with their roster, because of their quarterback, that is when Arizona gets better. Because I don't know if you realize, Arizona is Arizona because of their quarterback and what he's holding them back from doing. So, please, G Wizzle, you sound like a fucking idiot. And I told Tank the same thing. You guys are out of your fucking mind. Until you actually coach and understand it, you're out of your fucking mind if you think those guys. By the way, why didn't he go out of high school then? Why didn't he go out of high school then, G Wizzle, since you know so fucking much? Why didn't Tank Dell go straight to the NFL either? Oh, you just made a fucking asinine comment. You do realize that your comment is absolutely fucking retarded, right? I just want to be clear, G Wizzle. You're a fucking troll too. I might block you too. I don't like you. I really don't like a lot of you in there. A lot of you fucking trolls are fucking cunts. But keep showing up every day and watching the show.
They hate everything, yet watch for hours on end. They hate everything, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a believer in a lot of this football that we're going to see. I like you, D. Jones. At least you keep consistent. D. Jones, you're at least fucking consistent, dog.
Yeah.
I like consistency. Fuck it.
You got to turn subscriber only mode on, bro.
I know how to do that shit. Bailey knows how
to do that. 20 minutes at least. If you're not subscribed, you can't talk in here. That's how I do it. And if you get through, listen, this ain't my show, so I'm not going to tee off on some of you clowns in here like I would on my own show, but I respect it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I thought members only. Like,
now you got to turn subscriber only where you can they have to be subscribed for at least a half hour before they can even talk. That's how I do it in my show.
Yeah.
Like Pickle Pants would never be in my show. I would have fucking bodied that motherfucker. He'd be in a body bag a long time ago.
Pickle Pants. What a fucking cunt.
Hey, Peter. Look at Peter. Drop the link for Peter's bitch ass. Bring him on here. Come on, Peter. Face your fucking master.
Look at him. He looks like
this guy. Come on, man. You're going to talk shit to me, Peter? I'm a cornball? Look at your goofy ass in front of that fake ass with a white wall.
He looks like a fucking Hamas. He looks like a Hamas that just broke in illegally.
Yeah. Bro, you look like a Hamas fucking soldier, bro. Get out of here, man. No one's scared of you, Peter. Shut up.
Hamas soldier. Hey, I got to ask you, before we get out of here for the day, it's only Monday. We got a whole week here. I got to ask you this yesterday at LA, man, there was a van found. I'm not going to show it, but there was a van found that had the most disturbing shit ever at LA. It had toys, sex toys in it. It had video, hard drives, a mattress. You saw it, so I don't have to discuss it too much. It was another one of these illegals. When are we going to realize that everyone wants to come out and talk about, oh, they're good, they're here to better themselves? And I'm tired of hearing that shit, dog, because it's not. We've seen people getting killed, kids being assaulted by these folks. And these aren't the regular folks coming from Tijuana. These aren't Mexicans. These aren't the people that want to come over here and fucking cut our grass and be good, productive citizens. When are you going to learn that? When are you going to address it and accept the fact that we've allowed a lot of criminals in this country over the last fucking several years, and now we don't know how many's in this country, and we don't know what's next, Jeff. We don't know what the fuck is next. When you allow so many different people in, and now we're giving them debit cards and allowing them to vote, we are upside down. I'm just telling you. And I don't know what the Iranian president dying is going to mean, and I don't know what else is going on out there. You're more abreast than me, but we got a lot of issues, dog, that we have to fix inside before we go outside. I just think that's what it is. They're bringing the same shit they do in their other countries, Jeff, here.
As I've said, this is the Mario Boatlift effect. In the 80s, Cuba essentially released all of its violent criminals from their prisons. They emptied their toilets, as they said. And guess where all of them went? Miami. Miami went from being one of the safest cities in America to having one of the highest murder rates in America. It directly contributed to the rise of cocaine in Miami. And it became a war zone, and it's never recovered, essentially. That's what's happening in all these countries. And within the next 5 years, you're going to see it get worse and worse because, again, there are a bunch of really good people just trying to have better lives. There's a lot of bad people that have come here, and they're undocumented. We don't know who they are. You can't expect it to be, a bunch of good people coming here. Criminals know what they got to do. They know they come here. And remember, when they come here, too, they're not prosecuted for anything. So it's going to embolden criminals to do what they want to do.
Yeah. Before you leave, what is your take and what do you think the end result's going to be I think you've alluded to it. Puff Daddy in this situation, is it going to open Pandora's box to the rumors out there that Jay-Z is just as bad and these other people are just as bad? Is this going to open up Pandora's box, or is it going to silence? It can go one of the two ways, like you alluded to. If this guy's a CI and he's a fucking informant, a lot of people think that he has dirt. That's why they didn't go through his house and ransack it like the FBI would normally do. I've seen FBI houses they're actually in crates and boxes and it's organized. This was a fucking hood break-in, what it looked like. It looked like some hood kids went in there and ransacked it because you know why? They were looking for one thing, Jeff. And that's what they did in his houses. They were finding one flash drive or one CD. They were looking for something, and that's why I believe what you say is the informant part. But what's going to happen at the end of the day? And is this another way of silencing America from the bigger picture on what's going on in the world? Because fuck P. Diddy and everything he stands for. How about the 8 Americans that are held hostage right now for the last 225 days? Almost a year. We have 8 hostages that's being held right now against their will. American citizens. And we haven't brought it up one time. I haven't heard a fucking mainstream media bring it up on CNN, NBC, Fox. I haven't heard anything.
They played basketball. But if they played basketball, we would have raced to get them home. That's how it works.
Oh yeah, Brittany Griner though, we have to get her back. She's so.
And then we would give them Citizen of the Year. Yep.
Yeah, she's such a productive citizen to America. We have to get her back. We'll give up a fucking arms dealer. We'll get her back, and then it's unbelievable, dog. I don't know where we're headed, but
as far as the rumor, I'm not going to address rumors. I think they're nothing more than what we think they are. Rumors. Look, I love Jay-Z. Great rapper. That's all I know about him. I don't know nothing else. It's not my job to figure it out. But I think
you know what's funny? If you go back and look at all the old Dave Chappelle shows, and you see who he had on his shows, look at the people that he had on his shows versus who he didn't have on his shows, who he could have had on his shows. And if you see what Dave Chappelle has come out and said, similar to Cat Williams, kind of calling out folks, saying a word about wearing dresses and saying, I would never wear that. I never do that. That's part of the game. You have to do this to get into the good old boy network and circle. And if you look at the people he had on from rappers to actors, they all seem to be the people that are similar in ideology, like against all the weird shit. It's funny how his circles kind of stayed the same ever since the old Chappelle shows from 2000 on. De La Soul, Mos Def, the rappers that he's had on, all the people that you see. And then the skits that he made, Jeff. Remember he did a P. Diddy skit back in 2002? It's all what is coming out now. He knew then that this motherfucker was a weirdo, and he called it out, but we just didn't think nothing about it. It's kind of like the whole Simpsons thing that all that Simpsons has predicted all this shit. It's like that. And I look at it and I'm like, damn, it's funny how who we roll with is actually a depiction of who we actually are and what we think. Because my people in my circle they're going to be similar in my, you don't have to think exactly like me. I actually like disagreeing. It's great conversation. But like, we're not going to go out and do crazy pedo shit. We're not going to go out and do crazy child trafficking shit. Like, our circle is who we are. And Cisco thinks Chappelle's part of it too. And I wouldn't be shocked either. Kevin Hart, he just did a roast and he came out and led Kevin Hart, and people think Kevin Hart's involved. So Cisco could be onto something, but again, we'll never know.
I'm out on this. I don't live my life with all these conspiracies. I know there are a bunch of people in here that do. I don't know. I don't buy it. Look, I think there's definitely guys that are informants like Diddy for sure. I think if you just know anything about the law and how this all works, you would know that.
You do agree to that, so you have to know or think.
But that's not a conspiracy. That's just to me saying that the government has people under their control that are very powerful people that is giving them information. What that information means, we don't know, because what has it ever really gotten? I mean, where does it ever go? It never goes anywhere. Do I think he's informing no one like where drugs are and shit? No, right? Like, I just don't. What is it really getting them? I think he's just a famous person and he's protected. I think that's how it works.
Yeah. Before we leave, though, what do you think about Ohtani? Throughout all the gambling things, he hit his first walk-off last night, and we know all the gambling rumors out there. We don't know what's happening there, but he is in top 3 in every category in the Major League Baseball right now.
Professionals do what they do. He
doesn't give a fuck about all the outside noise, does he?
No. And that's what professionals do. I've always talked about Allen Iverson used to do that. He used to go out and get drunk and fuck random broads the night before, but he'd come and drop 50 the next night. It's
By the way, I saw you post yesterday. Your boy you have beef with at Barstool. He really said Hart was better than fucking Stephon Marbury?
Yeah, he did.
Some people just do.
I mean, he doesn't know anything about basketball, though, so it's not. And listen, I get there are people that have their opinions, right? But like some of these new age opinions, like there was a guy, Jack Mack. He says that he'd rather have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander than Allen Iverson in his prime. I love Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but Allen Iverson at his height? Come on,
hey,
man.
by the way, Cisco, I was talking to Keynan Middleton about this. He was on the Angel team with Otani and that guy. There's an Angel out there, Jeff, that's hit the news. I don't know if you saw it, but he was using the same interpreter to bet and gamble. And it's coming out now too. It's kind of weird. This is probably it's either going to get swept under the rug or it's going to be bigger down the line here. And I think interpreter took the bullet for him.
I want to also bring one other thing up when we're talking about conspiracies, right? A lot of people bring up Epstein, right? Epstein was killed in prison custody, and we have never had any perpetrator. No one's ever been charged with the crime, nothing.
But there's also no body, right?
Right. Now, also, keep in mind, a very similar situation happened to Whitey Bulger. When Whitey Bulger went to a federal prison in West Virginia, he was in his late 80s, okay? Now, if you know anything about the federal prison system, no person in their 80s should ever be in a U.S. penitentiary, ever, especially a person who is an informant. He was placed into a cell, and within 12 hours, he was beaten to death and had his eyes gouged out of his skull. This week, or in fact, last week, 3 individuals were involved in plea deals, and they have the people that did it. Why has there never been a person that has been charged in the Epstein case? If they can charge those 3, and there are cameras all over the prison system, especially the BOP, especially at MDC. We have to ask ourselves, why is nothing ever, because
I follow an interesting guy. Joe Accord gives us all the factual weather in the Discord and on this show. But I follow a guy that's made quite a name for himself that does weather, but he uses it in a conspiracy way. And he kind of showed the Iranian president yesterday on the helicopter, and he brought up the weather. Do you know that they wiped out the day? They wiped out yesterday's weather on major platforms, like all the major weather where you get weather from, where we can go on websites and pull up weather anywhere in the world. The 19th's missing, and it was right where he crashed. You can't not pull up the 19th because he wanted to pull it up and show, hey, was there really fog? Was there weather? That's what he does. This is this guy's channel. And I find him interesting, but he's also brought up the blob that's moving around the oceans and causing crazy waves in Africa and on the East Coast and all these things. The 19th is not on record on any weather channel or any weather site. You cannot go on and find the weather on where he crashed or anywhere in that region on the 19th. It just skips from the 18th straight to the 20th.
Let me ask you something, JB. Do you really think that people like him dying? Look at that guy that ran the Wagner group, and the guy that he was beaten with Putin just dies in a helicopter, like just out of nowhere. You think that's coincidental? I mean,
that's what I'm saying. What do you think about that type of shit?
Yeah, I think stuff like that. I don't know what. Again, I have to look more into the Iranian government and how it all works. I just know that he's not the supreme leader of Iran. There's another person above him.
Yeah.
But
that's like Saudi Arabia. The prince runs shit, and he's protected more than the fucking king.
Sure.
Like, because the prince is the heirloom. He's the one that has the money. And I've actually got to meet him with Pat. This guy walks on water now. This guy's probably worth trillions of dollars. People, don't want to release his money. He's worth more than all the fucking people we think are the richest people. No, they're the Saudis. And I'm saying, like, you look at these things and you're like, we've seen this before, Jeff, with Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and RFK or JFK. RFK has come out even and said, hey, I'm pretty sure CIA did it. And he's came out on podcasts now as he's running for president and dropped bombs that people are going to say, okay, you're full of shit, or you know something that we don't.
Here's one thing we know, okay? JFK was killed. Okay? We know that. And it wasn't some crazed guy, Lee Harvey Oswald. Okay? I don't know why we continue as a society to accept, and we all know it's not true. But again, the government just, again, lives in the gray area. We don't know that it's not true either. And people just move on in life. And that's the thing about the world, Coach. Things happen. They're a story for a day or two, and then they move on. That's why nothing on the internet means anything. It doesn't mean anything. People forget. Look at Diddy. Diddy still has, I'm sure, a bunch of people that love and adore him.
You know how many people bought into that apology?
Yeah. And that's the thing. You only need a certain group of the society to believe it. By the way, Coach, as we end this, you referred to some chatters as nobodies, right? This guy says, it's crazy how you refer to people as nobodies, but nobody outside of California knew you before Last Chance You, LOL.
Really?
It's kind of how Netflix works, dude. A bunch of people watch it.
But see, actually, that's not
stars
true.
Out of people.
But that's not true. See, every coach in America already knew who I was because I'd already been sending kids for 20 years before fucking Netflix, genius. So actually, I was a somebody in this profession that I am in.
Also, remember, why did that school get chose? Because they found you intriguing, right?
Yeah. It's pretty simple. I asked them that question too. And they were like, well, we asked Nick Saban, we asked Sarkisian, we asked Lane Kiffin, who should we cover? And they said, well, you want the best recruiter in America who gets after their players' asses? You better go over here to Independent. And that is the truth. So, yeah, I actually wasn't somebody, contrary to the nobody's belief. Jeff, as always, appreciate you hanging out for an hour and a half. We talked about a lot of shit. We'll have you on Friday. So that's the same. Hopefully, I get in the studio in the beginning of June. It looks
now,
like.
When's Smitty back?
Tomorrow, I believe. He's back tomorrow.
Well, if he's not back tomorrow, let me know. I'll co-host if you need.
Yeah, if you're not. Bailey, is he back tomorrow or Wednesday? Come on in, Bailey.
Wednesday.
Ding, ding, ring. Where's Bailey?
Darnell is back on Wednesday, I believe. He's leaving Tuesday, but I don't think he's gonna be on the show.
I'm back one more day if you want me, chat.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Hey, Bailey, stand up. Show Jeff your shirt.
Man, $10 on Ross, and you know what? I'm wearing it because I talk on my channel about Dion, and everyone comes at me, and all I say is he's got to win first to be in that Saban conversation. He hasn't won first, and people get mad. So I bought a shirt for $10.
Hey, Jeff, he did that.
I mean, I actually do like the shirt. I just
he's doing that as a troll, though. By the way, so
okay, I figured.
North Dakota State is a good team.
By the way, Jeff, that shirt's $10 at Ross.
Oh wow, yikes! Not selling good, huh?
Hey, guess what? But I think it's selling more than Colorado University. That's the crazy part about it, because it's Prime University. It's not the University of Colorado.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay,
by the way,
$20, Mark Cruz. Fuck. Who gives a fuck?
Nothing.
By the way, I did have Usyk, for anyone asking. Someone that said, did anyone have Usyk? I had Usyk.
Hey, G Wizzy. Hey, Alan, where you at, Alan? You in here? G Wizzy just said JB can recruit, though. He just struggled to find QBs. I got 20 Division I quarterbacks, 3 in the NFL. How is that struggling to find quarterbacks? You fucking
because
idiot.
on the show he watched.
Yeah, I know. By the way, Malik Henry was the number 1 quarterback in the country. He went to Florida State and was starting as a true freshman. Yeah, I think I'm going to take the risk on getting that guy. Fucking idiot. Anyway. As always, we'll be back tomorrow for Talk That Talk Tuesday. Shaun King will join me. We're going to break down quarterbacks per division all week long, plus more NFL talk. And Jeff, who you got in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference Finals? They'll be starting this week. Who do you got in both of those respective conferences? And the Pacers to be in it, Jeff, to me, is a telltale sign that the NBA is just not very good.
I'm going to go Dallas and Boston.
Really, I don't think Dallas can beat that defense. I think the bet for me right now is Minnesota to win it all.
I just love Kyrie. I like Luka and Kyrie. So
Kyrie has only averaged under 14 points this playoff run.
But he made some big shots the other night. Luka's a star, and I just like them a lot. I like Dallas.
Can Luka do what he's been doing, though, against that long, rangy, in-your-face defense that presses you 90 feet. I see a similar situation happening with them as I did in Denver. Their defense will end up suffocating you at the end of the day. They're younger. They're more athletic. I don't think Dallas has enough scores other than Luka that can stop that twin tower inside, along with McDaniels, who's playing out of his mind right now. And then you add that with the superstar who's figuring it out still. I think it's a tough out. I think that's a tough out for Dallas. And then Minnesota has home court, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the 3.
But we've seen that hasn't always mattered. So
yeah, it doesn't. Dallas just beat the 1 seed, so that doesn't mean shit. So we'll see. Pound that like, subscribe. Go watch Jeff on the Sit Down Crime Pod over on YouTube on his channel, and follow Bailey as his show's getting off the ground as we transition into a studio. Jeff, when are you coming out here?
probably June sometime.
Oh, you're supposed to come out this month, huh?
Yeah, I was gonna come out, but then I didn't because of Mother's Day and all the shit that I had going on. But
yeah.
June's a much easier month.
Good shit. Maybe we'll be in the studio by then anyway, so we'll get to hang out. And then we'll get you in the jacuzzi and in my other bed that no one slept in.
Not gonna happen.
Hey, pound that like, man. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Appreciate you guys. Peace.
All right, guys.
Get pressed so fast it don't get sacked like bags and baggage. Smitty and Jason Brown killed it, yeah, it's a rap. We what the game's been missing. We switched it.